All right, y'all. Welcome to All Politics and Local, America's number one political hip hop radio talk show. Y'all know if it's Friday, y'all know it's time for All Politics and Local. So y'all know normally this is the third Friday. This would be the mayor's forum, but of course the mayor's traveling today. So we're gonna have some other folks gonna be on. We'll give you the lineup. Of course, my name is Ed Riley. I'm one of your hosts with the show, and of course, this is my brother Zaid. He's your other host. So we're going to be holding the show up tonight. The other folks, John is off in Cambridge, I think Massachusetts, doing some debate stuff.
Harvard
Donna is
teacher
doing some
debate.
stuff with the family. So everybody is moving around. So Zaid, so you want to get them the rundown? Tell them who's coming up first.
Oh yeah, we had a tough week. Well, the week began in a very dark way. We lost a young sister, Kayla Spivey, who was a very present in some of our community-based violence intervention programs. Lost her to an ugly act of domestic violence. So we're going to talk about domestic violence. We're going to talk about Kayla, and we're going to talk about the things that it's a new strategy that's being put in place to try and address domestic violence. And it's an incredible tragedy that we would lose this young granddaughter, just as we're trying to get this thing in place. Her uncle, Khalil Tut, who was one of our top foot soldiers of community-based violence intervention and the founder of New Directions 360, is going to join us. And Hassan's Kirby was also, Hassan was a youngster coming from the inside, hanging with Street Doctor, some years ago before we built all this stuff up. And Hassan is now a key player for the community safety zone, and he's a chaplain with the city, right? And a leading figure in developing a male presence in this new strategy to combat domestic violence. Those two, I'm looking forward to those two young men joining us in a minute or so.
And then, of course, we got coming up at 7, we got Marquis Lewis. That's
Oh,
going to be coming up.
and the 6:30 we got Street Council.
Oh, yeah, Street Council first. Yeah, I'm sorry
Yeah,
about
I just
that, my
found out
brother.
the Street Council's got dropped a new book. We do time, they do business.
Yeah.
He was a jailhouse lawyer. If you ever been in prison, jailhouse lawyers are very important people
Oh,
among
yeah.
the land. Hell yeah. So I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to this conversation with my little brother on that one. Marquis has got Tahir Whitehead coming back about an important scholarship that they're trying to get going.
Yep.
Uh, and you need to tell us about this last piece because you curating this last session.
Yeah. So I wound up reading a post that that brother Al Tariq Kenny had posted, and it was about this inaugural fundraiser and outing that they're doing on Saturday. Is called the Black Boy Joy Festival. It's really a mentoring kind of program. So saw that and just thought that it would be great to get the brother who is the founder and the creator of this event. I thought it was important to share with our audience. So he's going to be coming up at 7:45 tonight, and so looking forward to excuse me, having a conversation with him around that as well. So, and then of course DJ Rhino should be rounding the show off with giving us the update on what's going on in hip hop. Haven't heard from him in a while, so want to find out what's going on, particularly some of the hip hop summer concerts that might be going on this summer, like Summer Jam and all of those things. So kind of see kind of get that from him when he come up. But that's our rundown, y'all. So we're waiting on those two brothers to join us. But up until that point, Zaid, tell me about the march. You all had a march yesterday, right?
Oh, it was a little more. We did a little more than March for a minute. Yesterday is a loaded day historically. It was a national day of action to observe the anniversary of the passing of the late John Lewis, right? Former congressman and legendary freedom fighter in the civil rights front. And there was some 1,700 actions all over the country in the spirit of No King's Day and all of that, in that continuum of organizing. Um, in Newark, we did our own, and not only did we rally and march, but we also did a little sit-in,
Mm. Oh, okay.
and it turned out to be a totally non-confrontational sit-in because of the work that's been done in this town in trying to improve as much as we can uh, the relationship between the community and the police. They actually shut the streets down and everything, and it went rather smoothly. Very mixed, multiracial, intergenerational crowd. John Lewis, why John Lewis? Several things. One, as a congressman, John represented the the conscience to the degree that the Democratic Party has one. Y'all know I ain't no Democrat, so I'm saying that with my tongue in cheek.
Right.
But he was a great brother, a genuine champion of struggle, uh, hugely important player, and before he became a congressperson, and what was the legendary Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, right? SNCC, the shock troops of the civil rights movement. It's a child of the black church, and a young minister. John was a very important voice, and at one time he was chair of SNCC. He was so strong when he was a baby, and I call him a baby. I'm like 18 to 20 when the March on Washington came along. His speech had to be edited by the censors of the epic March on Washington because it was a little too strong. We had somebody read that speech uh, as we were doing our sit-in yesterday. And if you read the speech, and it can be, I'll share it when the first chance I get, because there is a digital web page for SNCC documents and SNCC history that includes the speech. You'll see why the liberal mother fathers that tried to make that a controlled show uh, edited his remarks, but at least he got to speak, right? Of course, John Lewis, unfortunately, is best known for the horrible attack on SNCC marchers when they were going to march on the Edmund Pettus Bridge to Selma, right? And they were goes down in history as the infamous day known as Bloody Sunday, March of 1965. He literally had his skull crackers. Mississippi police and the local police literally attacked him, attacked all of those peaceful marchers, and he had to endure a skull being fractured for real. So he really has paid some incredible dues in this long walk for freedom, using Nelson Mandela's language. So the organizers of these national days of action used that day to use the day to as another call of action to continue to have the forces that are trying to push back against the Trump regime, the Trump fascist agenda, the Trump racist and sexist agenda, and keep them fresh, keep them engaged, and keep them fully mobilized. So by virtue of what we have seen in those last two actions, No King's Day last month and Good Trouble Day yesterday, that appears to be going well. We got a ways to do to get rid of these crazy folks. But in terms of having the base mobilized, right, it is bearing some fruit at least on that front preliminarily. So it was a powerful day. It's also yesterday is also the anniversary of tanks and the police and occupying forces leaving Newark, New Jersey after our epic uprising in 67. It was the last day of the uprising, the last day of the occupation when they left. right? So some of us had to bring all that together because the day meant more than just John Lewis for us. It was also the anniversary of Malcolm doing his epic memorandum to the Organization of African Unity in Cairo back in '64. And this is a hip hop show, but I think you'll appreciate what I'm about to say. It's the anniversary of the passing of the immortal John Coltrane. Malcolm and Train were the spiritual forces and the political forces that drove what would later become the Black Arts Movement. And so it was a lot happening. The day was loaded. The anniversary gathering was good. There was a gathering also in Jersey City that was put together by one of the family members of Andrew Washington, Tony Washington, who's been on our show with us, right? And like I said, throughout the country, 1,700 actions throughout the country, same day, same time. So it was a loaded day, indeed. Loaded day, indeed.
And where was the sit-in at, Zaid?
We started at the Federal Building. We sat in right there. We sat in right there on Broad Street, in front of the Federal Building, right in the middle of the street. And then we marched to the Martin Luther King monument up by Essex County Courthouse.
Wow.
And we had we had several hundred folks out there with us. It was something good to behold. It was something good to behold. Good to behold. All those issues, that we're dealing with, the immigrant justice question, the attacks on DEI, all of that stuff, women's rights, all of that. The attack on labor, good labor presence in some of these gatherings. Since we've been gathering in April, we've been developing a good labor presence in terms of coalition efforts here in Jersey, and that's a piece that definitely should not be overlooked. Good gathering, very good gathering. Kudos to the organizers. So shout out again to our own beloved Dino Chunga, Lawrence Ham, because Pop and the coalition that emerged from what we did with our convention a little while ago were key in developing the makeup and the turnout for what we did yesterday. Indeed.
It was pretty hot out there yesterday, Zaid. How did
It was. I was acting more like a medical worker than I was a soldier, because we had quite half of the folks in that march of my age and up.
right?
Right. And I said, I don't want any casualties out here. Y'all drink your water. Don't be bashful. Don't be vain. You
Right.
need help, say so. We'll get you help. If you got some physical issues and it's too hot to march, you don't have to march. Whichever's comfortable for you. If you want to sit, be here at this point, or meet us when we get up there to by the county, the Dr. King's monument, is cool. No
Right.
casualties. So yeah, it was hot. It was a challenge. I was spent after that. Right, my heat tolerance there's nothing anymore, but we got through it. We definitely got through it.
Yeah, that's what I was. I was wondering how was folks, holding up, out there in all of that heat, because a lot of the pop members, are up in age, man. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, a lot of the allies up in age too. There's a lot of young folks too. I mean, it was mixed.
right.
But you got to watch the elders. You got to take care of the elders.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that that turned out as well. Hey, Zaid, if you want to go ahead and try and see if you can reach out to those
Yeah,
brothers,
I'm tapping them both now.
and
I don't want them to lose their time.
yeah. So, did maybe they didn't get the link, because I just remembered to send
They
some.
got it. Yeah, they got it. I made sure I checked them when they got it.
Okay. Because I completely forgot to send out the link to some folks. So I was like, yo, let me just make sure I get that done right now.
We should let me extend my apologies to everyone from Keesha, our deputy mayor, who was also supposed to be on and was afflicted with some car trouble at the last minute. I may have to go check on her when our car gets back and make sure she's all right. But she would have been on this as well, because she would give it the big picture. These two young men would talk about this young lady that we lost, and they would talk about their particular work, who they have their hands on. but Keesha is responsible for the whole ecosystem. Lay out everything we got going on in the summer, everything we got going on the national front. Just had a big conference in Atlantic City that drew folks from all over. She could give it what we call in the Black Panther Party big picture. So she extends her apologies that she can't be on.
Did you go down to Atlantic City for that?
Just for a minute because I was traveling on some other fronts.
Okay.
I had to deal with a conference two in a row, one right back to each other. One in Los Angeles, the Giffords conference. Now, if you remember Gabby Giffords, congresswoman from Arizona who survived being shot several years ago. She built up a powerful gun violence lobby that's simply called the Giffords Conference, right? And this year was full of those of us who do what we call community-based violence intervention. She's been an important national player and advocate and partner on this front. We had to go from there to Atlanta for a special convening that was done for uh, folks in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's the land of Black Wall Street, and Atlanta. Those are two cities trying to figure out how to get in
Hmm.
the whole work of doing the community-based violence intervention. I got a great chance to connect with the Terrence Crutcher Foundation and his sister Tiffany, Dr. Tiffany Crutcher, because they really amped up and doing it. Trying to figure out how to bring them to Newark,
Hmm.
so they can see what we're doing. But between that, I only was able to get to Atlantic City for literally just a few hours, right?
Okay.
But I ran a breakout session and sat in some of the plenaries in the workshops, and this was originally supposed to be, it was called Pull Up for Peace. In fact, I got my shirt on today. um, Supposed to be a regional gathering of frontline forces doing community-based violence intervention between like the Boston down to the Virginia area. We wound up pulling folks from Detroit, far away as Seattle.
Hmm.
Really came and that energy, because it takes a certain energy and presence and history and character to do this kind of work on the streets, and you get all those folks with that kind of energy together. It's a very it's a very tellable energy, and folks were really not just putting in good work together, they were enjoying their work. Also, I got to reconnect, and I hadn't seen either one of these two daughters in a minute, and I want to get them on here to listen to me good. Our daughter Tamika Mallory and her sister Linda Saucer.
Hmm.
Tamika had her book. Tamika was played, and both are in their organization they call Until Freedom, and they also had a hand in the development of Pull Up for Peace, because out of the forces between our Newark forces and Jamila Davis, who has not been on our show before, who
Hmm.
has Institute for Social Justice Research in New Jersey, and Until Freedom represents those voices that has to shut stuff down and tie it together to other
Right.
issues the way old heads like I do.
Hmm.
Trying to get them on to be a part of our ongoing New York City conversation,
Yeah.
right? So stay tuned. Let me work on that. Now this we got one of our young soldiers that just jumped in here. Um, Tut,
Peace, my brother.
Peace.
Tut, that ancient name,
How you
right?
feeling, man?
How you
Good.
doing, sir? Good to have you.
Yes,
Good to
sir,
have
my brother.
you. Is this your first time on the show, Tut?
That's my
Since
second time.
I thought so. I thought you
Yeah, I
were on.
can't remember, bro.
Yeah,
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 second
yeah.
time
Well,
coming through.
welcome back.
All
Welcome
right,
back.
man. Definitely, man.
You know, in the time that we have together, I want to apologize to you right away that we're coming in under a cloud of darkness with the loss of your niece, and your niece, like you, was a presence among us that we all cherished.
Word,
So,
word.
with the few minutes that we have, let's talk about Kate. Let's talk about her big uncle, and let's
Yeah,
talk about 360 to remind folks of just the important work that you're doing.
yeah, definitely, man. So, man, peace and blessings to everybody, man. And I ain't Khalil Tut. President found the New Direction 360. public safety organization, really community-based organization that became a public safety organization once, we realized that we was out there protecting, each other in the community and trying to put that good energy, back out there for the gang culture to calm that stuff down in our city, man. That was our main goal, push it forward. And, doing the work out there to protect the youth. Because we know the youth are our greatest resource, man. But we know that the youth the greatest resource for the enemy as well. So we just try to, get with them and, redirect that energy that they having and some of those misplaced feelings and get them back, in a better direction, with some of the work we was doing. My baby girl niece, man, she was, a unique little girl, man. That was my baby, man. And it was just like I seen my little niece going down like different paths in life, dealing with, different guys. First when they get older, when I came home from prison, my niece was 10. So she was a little, old, like we getting there closer to her 10 years, by the time I got home, but she started seeing who I was as an uncle and seeing what I stood for. And she definitely was, trying to, come more towards, understanding it. But I think a lot of stuff in her environment, was kind of misplacing her feelings. And she started, dealing with guys out there, the young YN culture, hanging around them little guys and doing stuff like that. And that stuff like there was kind of, scaring me a little bit. And I was trying to push her away from it the best I possibly could, but I didn't know she was that, deep into it, or, something would happen to her where she was in a relationship and be involved in a domestic situation, man. Like that'd be something my wildest dreams I thought would happen. So, that happening like that, man, it definitely took a blow out of the movement and man and a lot of that peace that was in our hearts, man. It's kind of like got disrupted by, taking that loss, especially doing this work out here with these young brothers and, tapping in with them, trying to keep them out of, trouble. We deal with that high risk, at risk culture, man, the youth that's out there, dropping out of school, being in the streets, playing with guns, and we know how dangerous it is out here for our young ladies, man, being around these young guys. We just didn't imagine something like this would happen. But, God give his biggest, battles to his strongest warriors. And I feel like, man, this can bring some light to the city, to our youth culture, not just in our city, but all over the country. It's a big issue with the youth, man. Them, being outside, not enough mentors in the streets. Some of them coming from these, harsh backgrounds, mother, father, from the streets, domestic violence situations they born into. These young guys, learning a lot of this behavior. We don't got enough people out here kind of like redirect them or get them back on the right track. And I just hope this situation could bring some light to it and that we can, get some people to come together, man, and just bring some resources to our youth as much as we possibly can. I don't think there's enough out there. We just need more resources for our youth because they the future. And especially if our baby girls getting shot and killed out here now, our future is in jeopardy for real because their lives are way more valuable than our lives. You know what I mean? Women's lives are way more valuable than our lives. Well, that's how God made it because we can't reproduce. They the only ones that can reproduce. So if we kill the women, the world is over. So it just ain't make sense at all. Under no circumstances to be hurting the women out here. And we just gotta make that, make sense, which it should, but to some people, I guess it don't, man. Some people hearts. But we gotta, man, value our young girls and their safety and our women in overall, and that's what my movement on now, man, because it's just, it pushed me towards this now. You know what I mean? I don't wanna no other family have to experience that pain of losing a 16-year-old, girl that young, man, and still our life ahead of her. And
Man,
if we don't get on this thing and be ahead of it, we're gonna have more little Kaylas out there, And I seen a lot of little girls at the funeral and at the repast. They all reminded me of Kayla, like a bunch of little Kaylas was running around. Just kept seeing her feet, and it's like, dang, we gotta protect all these girls, man, because some of them still might not get it. But we gotta do our best to protect them, man. And I think we gotta start resourcing that moving forward. We're gonna try to call on the city, the mayor, anybody with resources to dive into this. You don't call it youth domestic violence. I think it's like teen dating violence or something, but we've been researching that stuff, man, since it's happened to my niece and seeing how we can prevent this from ever happening again in our community.
yeah, you can catch your breath because that's a lot. You hit us with a lot, and you gave us a big full picture of her, and just several things. Just to put a pin in what you said, the irony of the timing of what happened to her was incredible, because we're in a situation where we're actually trying to develop a fresh strategy to check domestic violence, right?
Exactly.
Even though our overall violence numbers are going down, we see more domestic violence with the violence as it is, right? Particularly since COVID. The other thing too is that a couple of years ago, Sharif Amenhotep, who was one of my soldiers, right,
Mm-hmm.
lost his 16-year-old daughter almost the same way down in South Carolina, and
Right.
a bunch of us literally had to go to South Carolina and help him shake up that little southern town to find his child, and it's the same kind of thing. So, this can visit this kind of darkness can visit any of us or any of our loved ones. None of us are immune to being touched by this, and we shouldn't be indifferent about the importance of being engaged and trying and help people like you, right? Uh, and what you do in our streets. I want you to take a minute and talk about New Directions. Your story, how you came to do and create New Directions, because everybody, just to refresh the memory of those who remember you when you came on before, but we all know each other doing the work, but it's still so many in the community that doesn't know and understand what we do. So for their benefit, take a teachable moment and give us some 411 on New Direction.
Yeah, yeah. So New Direction, is something that I had created, when I was in prison, I had ran into, a lot of the older brothers in there, and I became conscious of, the revolution, the Black Panther Party, just the movements, the civil rights movements and stuff that was going on. Down Trenton, you were running to a lot of the BLA guys, the Black Liberation Army brothers. And when I got locked up, I got locked up for police officer losing his life, at the high school up there back in 2005, height of the gang era. My little sister, ironically, the one that was, involved with her daughter, what I mean? She was involved in some school fighting stuff. And we went to check on her. And one thing led to another with the police officer. We got into, altercations with them. And, one of them got shot, I got shot. And I went on trial for that. And through the grace of God, I came out all right because I wasn't a shooter. And they probably played dirty the system. They just wanted to make example out of
Yes.
two young gang members out there trying to go out, but they really missed the mark because they was playing so dirty with the system where they just kind of went after the wrong person. So through the grace of God, I was able to beat that case. And when I beat that case, it gave me like a big status and notoriety within my culture that I came from. I ain't, full. I stood strong, went to trial. All the police, law enforcement was coming to court. My family was coming. So we went to war with the system and we won, which is rare sometimes for some of us. But me being able to, take that victory and use it the best way I can by coming home and, pushing my community forward. I knew that I had some power and influence coming home for something like that. So I wanted to come out here and use it the best way possible. And when I was in prison, I was meeting with a couple of the bros and the Bloods, the Crips, talking with them about, a new culture, building that for our youth culture in our community and making sure that, because I said I had a lot of homies dying when I was locked up that I grew up with. I was just hearing like, this homie died, this person died. And I was just seeing how messed up the streets of Newark got since that gang stuff came over. And nobody never came back to set it straight. And God gave me an opportunity to get back. So I knew I was going to come back home and I was trying to, come on with a plan and a vision. And that was the vision, man. New culture, which would eventually turn to New Direction. We started in the prisons having meetings, a couple of us, going in the day rooms, chopping it up. Every jail I went in, I was tapping in with conscious bros that was with it. And we just walk the yard, talk about it. And we was calling it New Culture. And it was just like the homies, different Bloods, Crips, talking about it and from different cities. And then I went home before them. And I just came home and put New Direction on a hashtag post on Instagram one day because I was working, going to the gym. And I had got my first job. And I was like, yo, New Direction. And then it just took off like that. Everybody just like, yo, New Direction, bro. See you. And then, we just started getting in the community with it, rallying the troops around it. And then organization. We didn't know it was, we wasn't like intending to do it. We were just trying to, affect the culture differently. But we became a community-based organization, tapped in with the Deputy Mayor Keesha Eure and the Mayor Rajay Baraka. They resourced us and some funding to create an infrastructure for it, let us know what we had, gave us some trainings, and allowed us to be part of the ecosystem, the public safety ecosystem in Newark to help with the at-risk youth and but it's within the gang culture, you know, because it was hard for them to get in that gang culture. They need somebody credible
Right.
to come out here and get them in there. And I was that one, man. I guess the one that the prodigal son that God chose to come back. I took a lot of heat trying to do it. You know, we still, you know, fight every day to make it make sense. But, you know, all the big homies behind the wall was endorsing it. All the OGs like yourself and all the other, you know, big bros that showed us the way, you know, stood by it, understanding the revolutionary aspects of it, of us galvanizing the troops into a better direction and us being able to show them a better way. So, we definitely been getting some notoriety from, you know, from people in the community. Principals been pulling up on us, having us come to the schools, you know, to talk to the kids. When they having little gang issues in there, we could come in there and set that straight. So we kind of cleaned up all the gang issues inside the high schools with the movement. Cause my case happened by high school, so it was a real, you know, man, notoriety case, man. When it come to high school, safe passage and all that stuff, it kind of birthed a lot of that stuff. That's why we protect the kids so much, and we make sure we keep them safe. We don't like them fighting at the schools and all that, because you don't know who could be coming up there from a different hood. When these kids got crazy cousins and uncles, we know how the hood be. It's tough to go left quick. So, you know what I mean, when I came home, I made it my duty to protect them high schools, man. I was going down every day, like just standing out there by myself, me 8th grade. You know, a couple of my people just doing it, not getting paid to do it or nothing. We were just doing it because I just wanted to give back to my community, because my community is what got me home on that jury. That's who voted not guilty, and they gave me another chance, the people. So I had to give the people a reward, man. That was my loyalty to them, man. And that's why I told that judge when I got sentenced, and they was upset that the jury found me not guilty of the most serious charges, but they found me guilty of reckless manslaughter, which was causing his death by, I guess, me coming out there in my actions, you know, approaching the situation, which was valid. I shouldn't have came that way. But it was my little sister, and I was just coming looking for her, but I ain't come like wilding with no gun or nothing. You know, it's just them officers tried to attack me, grab me all up, and brutalize me, and my people weren't going for that, and they went left like any militant organization. Cause we was militant back then. We was the police. We was against the police. We was against them for the wrong reasons, I believe, but we was against them. You know what I mean? And it just went kind of left. But God knew my heart in that situation, I believe, and I ain't shoot nobody, so that's why I'm here, and
Let
that's
me
why we
say
got the
this.
new direction move.
I know our stories are important. In fact, that's one of the things that I'm actually trying to help the Brick City Peace Collective and our organizations do, is tell our stories better, right?
Right, right,
Bigger story of what we have done in Newark is a big story. You know,
right.
you're not just in the hood now. You know, you getting calls to help
Exactly.
people how to do this in other cities and around the country, right?
Right.
That's
Correct.
important. But your story, what happened to you, those stories are important too.
Right.
This
Correct.
is what it means to become a credible messenger, right?
Exactly. Right.
This year is the centennial of Malcolm X, the daddy of our credible messengers.
Yeah.
And also, you know, we are in this constant tug of war with making our law enforcement folks understand that this is not a competing strategy, but a
Exactly.
parallel strategy. Y'all
Correct.
work your lane, let us work our lane, and
Correct.
bring this thing down, right?
Correct.
And I have to say this because you and Shadi both have, had to deal with some stuff coming from them recently.
Yeah.
Check that, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Check,
Correct.
telling your stories wrong, lying, right?
Exactly.
In order to attack you and to dismiss the significance of what you're doing. So at the bottom, the foundation piece of all of this is community and being community led. And I'm
Exactly.
proud of you, Shadi, and all of y'all for how y'all have emerged and built this thing up that's got people looking at Newark different again, right?
Correct. Correct.
Back in the 60s, Newark was the beachhead for Black Power.
Right.
You understand that?
Exactly.
Beachhead, Newark, New Jersey, right? And
Mm-hmm.
now it's a beachhead for making peace and healing in our streets, and something that is so badly needed all over this country where you got chocolate people living how we living, right?
Exactly.
So yeah,
Right,
so I
bro.
wanted to put a pin in that. Yeah, so yeah, as we wind up, any other takeaways that you and I didn't see our deputy mayor chimed in. What did she say? Did you see what she said in the chat? Ed, I didn't see it. Yes, we have to tell our stories better. And again, I'm also extending her apology. She had some last minute issues and couldn't get on, but she checking in. She watching like a hawker. She want to make sure the stuff, we doing our work correctly, doing
Correct.
our work at its best. That
Exactly.
matters too. That matters a lot.
That
Right?
matters a lot. That matters a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. So, Ed, you want to add? You want
Yeah.
to ask
Eh, eh,
something?
yeah. So Ted, what I wanted to ask you, my brother, is that, do you see dealing with young men and domestic violence in and of itself somewhat different, as opposed to dealing with that whole gang mentality? Because remember, a lot of times, as young men, I've had those issues too growing up, where it's hard for young men to walk away from situations, particularly in with females and males, right?
Mm-hmm.
When those relationships are over,
Right.
to say, man, those things are over, and walk away and just say, I mean, she's got a right to live her life, you got a right to live your life, and move on with that. Do you see that different in terms of how you deal with young brothers around that particular situation?
Yeah, so what I noticed, with the youth, being and dealing with them and being around them is that, sometimes they don't value women, especially the young ladies who like kind of like act like, menace a little bit. You know what I mean? They're a little rough, these girls around the edges, some of the young girls, and they with, you know, they be play fighting with each other. They want to be the YNs, and a lot of them, they ain't really carrying themselves like little young queens, like we be trying to preach to them, because there's a lot of young queens out who carry yourself like that, and men gonna respect them a certain way. But if you carry yourself more in the, you in the hood and loud mouth way, some of them learn that stuff from their moms. They see a lot of stuff that go on out here with the culture, with the older women, going back and forth with the men, and trying to fight each other. And young girl be trying to fight the boys and stuff now. And sometimes a boy fight, if a girl hit me, I can hit him. And I be telling them, like, you don't play with girls like that. We don't play like that, and we shouldn't even conduct that. Like, we got to protect our queens. We got to value them, and we got to let them know how important they are. And I think we don't stress that enough to the young men. You know what I mean? Because I feel like the older men don't do that enough, and they don't lead by that example. We over sexualize women. We put it out there. Our social media is just wild. We degrade them, sexually, strippers. We throw singles on them. It's just a wild sexual culture, and then it's hard to hide that from our kids with social media and stuff. So it's hard to even raise kids and shield them from a lot of the demons that we still battle as adults, and they just picking up on it. And we just got. I think we have to do better, lead by example more better as men, value our women more better, and they see that, and they're gonna trickle down to them. But if we ain't mistreating our women, they gonna think it's all right. And some of them been in situations where they seen their father smack their mothers around, and they all traumatized, and they get around, and some of those young girls seen their mothers get smacked and still stay with their father, and they be thinking that's cool. We got some of these girls that like fighting and hitting on each other, and some people think that's cool. So it's a real like mental thing we got going on, and I think we gotta really address it. We gotta get back on addressing that, having conferences about it, and and holding people accountable when that happens. From a street standpoint, not necessarily trying to harm nobody too physically, but let people know, man, we value our young queens, and if you put your hands on them, you're gonna have to deal with grown men, man, and we don't know how to deal with that when it comes to our baby girl.
So one of the things I think you said is important. It's about what they've seen. So they've seen either
Right,
the men in their lives doing that to other women, and so they think it's okay to sort of live in that kind of space and act that way around young girls, not knowing
right,
that of course that behavior is not acceptable among conscious black men,
right,
right?
correct,
Especially
correct.
young women. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I can remember that when I was coming up, some time ago, and Zaid can attest to this in the Nation of Islam. One of the things you definitely learn is the valuability of the women and valuability of the sisters. And if you
Correct.
took them sisters, you had to deal with the entire FOI. You know what I mean? And even brothers in the street who wasn't conscious knew that when you saw black women, particularly Muslim women, walking down the street, if you didn't even have your consciousness right, you'd get on the other side of the street
For
because what
real.
you didn't want to deal with was the FOI who was definitely going to deal with you when it came to them women. But that is something that I think we need to carry on, whether the brothers or in the nation or not, but get that level of understanding
Yes, sir.
to know not to be putting their hands on them sisters, you know.
Correct. Correct.
So yeah, man, I think that y'all moving in that space is going to be important to get around that and definitely have those levels of conversation with them because you know you know when
Mhm.
relationships end, for a lot
Yeah.
of us, man, it's hard for us to walk away from that, man. You know what I mean?
Correct. 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 It
and, and
is.
and accept that it's over, man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because you start thinking that you own this young girl or you own this woman, right? And she got a right to move on just like you got a right to move on. You know,
Correct. Correct.
and you got to remember our own mayor dealt with that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's right.
Some years ago and losing his,
Correct.
Right.
you know,
Correct. Correct.
and and the heart, what's difficult about that, Ted, is that for most brothers, we don't want to have those kind of conversations with each other. You know what I
For
mean?
real. Word.
Like, because we sort of think, like we should be the one to be to end the relationship and walk away or whatever. But if she do it, we somehow don't think that she can do that. And I'm telling you from personal experience that having had to learn that as a young man myself, right? That when
Yeah.
those things are over, it's over, man. You know,
Word. For
and
real.
that's growing up. So I think y'all entering into that space, that's going to be a deep, deep conversation
It's gonna be deep.
because as I hear the mayor say all the time, when he comes on the show, he talks about this place that we live in, right? And he's talking about Newark, right? So when he says that where we live at is different than where everybody else live at, you know,
Correct.
we have to learn how to navigate in this place where we live at, and that's not just on the outside, that's also on the inside. So
Mm-hmm.
appreciate it, brother.
Definitely, man. Definitely, my brother, man. And we definitely gonna keep working, man. I know they do got a group, called the Few Strong Men out there that Kirby and a couple guys
He's
frontline. I've
supposed
been
to be on.
Keisha
Yeah, he was
Ure's
supposed to be
frontline in
on.
that too. We went to a
Right.
couple of the meetings, and I didn't know that was a thing that they was doing. And I seen some of the meetings. It was definitely inspiring to be in there. We seen some strong men in there. But I think that us these recent situations happening with the young lady, especially with my niece, and it being my niece, with me having a platform that I have, I think we're gonna galvanize some troops and be able to really address this issue, with domestic violence in our community, with our older women and
Yeah,
definitely with our younger women. And I think we're gonna see a decline in that, based off of, what happened with my niece and just the notoriety we getting. And then us, being committed to this now, keep moving forward. You know what I mean? That's what we put in our organization efforts into, and our energy. We had pulled back after the wake and reevaluated things. We want to push for the young ladies. We value the young men a lot. We did a lot with them. We're not gonna never go away from that or shy away from that. But our motion and our mission right now is to protect as many young ladies as we can, man, in our community. Stand up, fight for them, and fight for our women in our community, and try to get some of these brothers who we know out here who think it's all right to hit women. You know what I mean? We got to stand against it. It's a touchy subject. It's a touchy situation. It's going to ruffle some feathers. But
yep,
on the strong men can, really, really put it together. I already got the bros behind the wall who's sending word out, supporting it. You know what I mean? Videos about, them hitting on new ladies or young, none of that, bro. We against it. You know what I mean? So we're gonna have to call some bros out because there's some brothers out here that's in positions that's out here that be on that stuff, bro. I can
yeah,
speak to it because I never did it. I never touched it. I never smacked no girl. I never fought no girl in my life. I value my mother, my grandmother, and my two little sisters. I value women. I don't disrespect women, bro. So I can speak on that with a clean hands and pure heart. And I can galvanize other brothers who I know out here are like that too to stand together with us for something that's right. Because when we talking about protecting the people who birth us, bro, that go without saying. We
yeah,
shouldn't even be a conversation. We shouldn't even be in a place where we talking about something like that, or anybody that harm a woman, that's coward behavior. Like, ain't no way around that, bro. Like, we know women can't physically beat us. We know, like you shooting a woman without a gun, like it's just crazy, man. It's unthinkable that that even happened. It's like a nightmare, but it happened to our family and it happened to a 16-year-old in our city, yo. So if that don't galvanize us and wake us up as a community, you know, what I mean, I don't know what can. But look, we got the center, Shani Baraka Center. We hoping to do a big event there within the next, month or two. I think during Peace Week, I was talking to Ada about it. We was gonna try to reach out to the city during Peace Week and see if we could do a big event there, bring all the young girls out, the mothers, anybody who had domestic violence issue, bring them out. Let's
Yeah.
bring light to that. Tell your story. Expose these guys that's been doing it. And we're gonna build something to protect them, man, because our women are valuable,
Yep.
and and we gotta just show them that they safe. They ain't feeling safe right now. They ain't feeling like, and if they ain't feeling safe, that's a call on the men in our community. That means
That's
we in the way out here, bro. That
that's
means we looking weak out here. Because if the women ain't feeling safe, they gonna look at us like, what we doing as men?
right.
So we can't have that. You know what I mean? We can't even have that on our conscience or on our name that we ain't trying to protect our women. We trying to protect humanity. Protecting humanity is protecting them. They
Yeah.
birth humanity. It's a no-brainer. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
One of the
Absolutely.
hopefully
things
we get it, man.
as we wind up, because we got to wind up and move around you right on time, son, right? Because we can flow from this right into yours easy, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that one of the most vibrant, echoes of Malcolm's voice right now is, the most disrespected person in America is a black woman.
Yes,
The
Yes,
sir.
most
sir.
unprotected
Yeah.
person in America is a black woman. The most neglected person in America, the black, that is vibrating throughout our community like crazy. Not just behind white men, but behind the drama that we have within our own community.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Um, let's give you before you go. This is this last question, right? This is a hip hop talk show. I'm gonna double edge the question this time, Ed. Usually we
Mm-hmm.
ask folks who are they listening to get them, going to do the work. I'm gonna ask you a double edged question because it's a question we need to have within hip hop culture. Who who do you listen to get you going? Two, what are you hearing right now that needs to be checked?
You said that needs to be checked.
Needs to be checked, like on what we're talking about with the domestic violence and some of the backwards dimensions of hip hop culture.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, so I'm still under the old, ain't Tupac, man. That's who kind of give you then Nipsey Hussle if I could get two. You know what I mean? I'm off of
Yeah,
those, you know what I
all
mean?
of that.
Those two right there, man. Tupac. And they was conscious rappers and they speak about all the stuff that like they prophetic. Everything we going through now, it's like Pop was saying it, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
like by the race of babies, they hate the ladies, you know what I mean? Like he just say certain stuff that, you know what I mean, make us conscious of stuff that we been going through now. But right now, I feel like the drill rap is hurting us right now. The stuff that they
Yeah.
putting out there, and anybody standing behind that, whoever resourcing that is like resource making our job hard out here, man. And
Right.
putting a lot of that, evil stuff into the culture, man, and pushing that. And it's hard for us to get our little bros focused because that stuff pulling them, back. So I feel like that's something. What I mean? That's kind of like, harmful us. And I don't like being pushed out there. It's caused a lot of problems. They dissing each other hoods and, kids see each other in public and be going at each other. So it's a lot with that stuff. So I feel like that's right there something that, is harming us. You know what I mean? And we got to try to change that for the youth.
Mhm.
On
Yo,
that, we all agree.
I just want to say mad respect to you, man, on your development, man, because I can hear it in
Yeah,
you.
That's right.
I hear the leadership in you,
Seen it.
man. I hear the respect in you,
definitely,
and
bro.
and every time I see you, man, I tell you the same thing. Them kids need you, man.
Bro,
I mean,
definitely, bro. For
they need
real, big bro.
you. So appreciate you, man.
No
You
Yeah,
know,
doubt,
you
man.
doing. I appreciate the brother. The brother been pushing. I remember the brother was in MCU. I was in Trenton at the
Bro,
time, man. The brother came a long way, man. I tell the brother,
bro,
when I see the brother, man, I was there. I was right in MCU. I saw what the
for
brother
real,
been through, man, and he been through stuff that is far beyond our imagination, man.
for real,
In them
for real,
trenches. And, when we talking about
for real.
trenches, we talking about deep trenches.
Yes,
And I
sir.
commend the brother. The brother come out hitting the ground, and the brother been out here, man, hitting the ground running, man. And I'm proud of the brother. When we talk about violence against women, man, I remember, being a part of NAVC. We did a rally on Springfield Avenue, 20th Street. He gunned the sister down in the tenant car, thinking that the boyfriend was in there. You know, gunning for the gunning for. You know, we got a lot of work to do, man. And it start on the ground, but we got to have a multifaceted approach to this. We got to hit the jails, man. We got to hit the jails, the halfway houses. We can't be everywhere. You know what I mean? Tut, you know, he came through, was in the jail when I was in there to show him, you know, the halfway houses. It's like we try to spread this everywhere, man. We can't be everywhere, but we need help. You know what I mean? We need help. We need men, you know, to really hit this ground and really to push the movement forward. And that's the hit, man. You know, doing 20 years in the box, you know, it's like you see a lot of, you know, a lot of drama and a lot of turmoil in there, man. You know, and the key is, man, you know, you got a lot of cats that come out from playing basketball and all that shit for 20 years, 10 years, and they ain't getting no skill. You know what I mean? And the part of being, you know, a man is when you can be able to provide. You know, we know that from the statistics that just recently came out that you got over 70% of black men is homeless in the cities. They stand with the women on Section 8. You know what I mean? You know, and you know, and you know, it got to be a national call to men, man, to tighten up. You know, I'm trying to galvanize a men boot camp, trying to put that together. My office at downtown 972 Broad Street, trying to really, you know, put together a team of men, a boot camp, man. And it got to be, you know, a multifaceted approach where we can hit it from all different angles, man. You know, that's where I see brother Baba Zay, you know, brother Zay been out there on the front lines, man. He out there right next to the office, the Pop, POP and all them was out there, man, pushing against Trump, pushing against violence against our inner city, pushing against white supremacy, white nationalism. You know, brother, we got work to do and we continue to push forward, man. But we need more men out here to really the boots on the ground.
And you gotta introduce it. He jumped in, and it was good to jump in because he affirmed everything. He affirmed Touch's story.
Yes,
Right?
sir.
And
Yes, sir.
we need the stories to come together. But
Yes, sir.
give our young man an introduction.
Well,
Yes, sir.
obviously, and you know, he is a brother that really don't need no introduction, man.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, whether you know street counsel or not, you really know his reputation, right?
Right.
It precedes him, man. And you know, you always hear, you know, he's doing real positive stuff. You know, I ran into him, man, at the hotel that night. We were down there for the mayor as the numbers were coming in, and you know, he and I started talking, and he
for
was
the primary,
so he was telling me about his new book, and he was like, "Yo, man, you know, y'all need to get me on." And I was like, "Yo, that go without question." I just couldn't believe we've never been on the show for other things, man. Just having conversations.
Yeah.
But you know, we are elated, man, to of course have a brother on the show tonight to talk with us about what I think is a very timely book. You know, when and that title was just dope, man. You know, when he said that, you know, we do time, they do business. I mean, that's real, right? So, you know, without any hesitation, man, let's hear from the street council, man, and you know, let's talk about it.
Well, you know, before you talk, let's dig this. And
Yes, sir.
Put it together in my head. The show is 15 years old. Ed and Jonathan started this show 15 years ago. That dovetails with NAVC starting around the same time.
Right.
Y'all done growed up together. As the old folks used to say.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Yeah, so come on in and start telling your story for those that don't know. And for those
I appreciate the invite, man. I appreciate the platform. You know, we need more black platforms, man. Y'all been on the front line, really covering down on issues that affect our community, and I appreciate that, man. You know, and it's unfortunate, man. We got to get the brothers inside to really hear this line and really tap in. You know, this is you know, they call me the street counsel. You know, I'm born and raised in Prince Street Projects, man. Cracked addicted parents. You know, I got a story like everybody else got a story, man. And you know, I caught my first charge just graduating out of high school, man, 18 years old. You know, and was in, you know, they gave me excessive sentence of 20 years. and I never killed nobody, never hurt nobody or nothing, you know.
That's
But
all it takes. That's right. Tell it.
yeah, I had to learn the law, man. I had to fight. I had to fight to get out. I had to fight all my life, man. I was able to learn the law, and I'm responsible for freeing thousands and thousands of individuals, man. I have a lot of impact out here on these streets. A lot of people look up to me, respect me, and got love for me, it's interesting. I hear people talking about Delaney Hall, I was in Delaney Hall about 7, 8 years ago, talking to the brothers, showing them writing motions, how to write motions to get out of Delaney Hall. Them conditions in Delaney Hall that people talking about now is the same conditions that our people endured back then. And me and Miss Bay was right there on the front line, man, really trying to push. And we was able to go inside and really, try to help these brothers and sisters, by the way, and get out of there. So my fight continued, man.
Which Miss Bay we talking about? Because I want to lift
Yeah,
her up.
Marion Bay. Yeah, Marion Bay.
Who was a pioneering educator
Yes.
of the independent black school
That's a
tradition
fact.
in this town.
That's right. That's right.
Lift that up because she's
That's right. No.
a long distance runner.
Yeah.
She back a lot of years. Absolutely.
That's right. I appreciate that. Speaking to women, it's important that we highlight the women as well. In Marion Bay, this is the Harriet Tubman of our time. I'm talking about a sister, man. Every time I was there, she was making sure them brothers and sisters come to what you call 'em? To lock up. I mean to group. Okay, 1 second. Give me this thing. Give me this thing. Yeah. No, don't worry about it. I'm sorry. I got my little man.
No, that vibration is absolutely welcome because we all got children.
Give me. Yeah. There you go. No problem. No problem. Get you. Yeah, I'm okay, leave me on. Yeah, I'm a full-time father for real. You talking about, and my son, it's important that we pass generational wealth down to our kids, man. I bought him a house in St. Louis. He from St. Louis, and he's 5 years old. Two ways wealth is passed down through real estate and life insurance. So yeah, so my journey, man, we've been out here. I've been out here pushing and continue to push. I'm on 24-hour call. People call me all the time, getting advice on cases and advice on their kids. I'm able to give that support and continue to give that support. So that's where Street Council came from. Rest in peace to the brother Street Doctor. Street Doctor said, man, you give so many people advice, man. I'm gonna call you the Street Council.
No.
Yeah. It caught me off guard because I never, So he's like, yeah, I need you to help these brothers. Huh?
Yeah, he was right. That works.
Yeah. So you read the case Tyrone Barnes versus Lydell Shear. That's a published case. Where you have a corrupt prison guard who was accustomed and notorious for stealing individuals' properties while they was behind the wall, pressed down and out. And I took him to court, man. And they used to say that we couldn't fight from inside. You ain't got no win. You ain't got no rights. And I fought it, and it became a public case. And the court outlined that we do have a right to appeal and petition the courts for violation of our rights and for individual corrupt cops taking our property. So that was a published case, and that case right there helped thousands and thousands of individuals.
Yes,
and it continued.
So you got to. Did he just go off? Or was it?
Yeah, we lost his
Oh
feed.
man, because I really want you to, because I wanted him to appreciate you as a lawyer because he's a jailhouse lawyer. You back? We see you.
Yeah,
Stay right there.
Yeah. So you look on YouTube, Tyrone Barnes versus Parole. I went at Parole. They do public annual hearings. I had to get at them. Okay, and I had they gave me 6 parole hits. As a first offender. The first hit was an 8-year hit. I returned that hit. I put in a brief 50-page brief.
That is so good.
8-year hit. And then what happened is, once I returned the hit, they was wondering how I come up so fast. How you overturn this hit so fast? And I was able to, was successful at overturning. And then, what they did is they gave me a 36-month hit, and then a 24, then a 28. So what happened is they applied a piecemeal approach to accomplishing the original mission, which is 8 years and beyond. It added up to 11 years, 6 months. So under Democratic rule, by the way, so we can't, Trump wasn't in, yeah, Trump wasn't around, you know what I mean? So, this was done by the Democratic.
You came along the time we got that no good Bill Clinton, the prison builder.
There you go. There you go.
Right.
Yeah, that's who was in office.
Man's Democrat. That's what he.
Yeah,
That's what he
yeah.
was.
And you got a lot of Negroes were signing off on the bills too, So,
God, yeah.
what I mean? Yeah. So flash forward from there, came home after doing all that time. I was able to learn the law from reading cases. They say the law was designed to control the weak. So I was able to learn the law. And my grandmother and all them passed away, man. And my only survival inside was learning the law. And that's the only way I was eating. I was learning the law, helping brothers and sisters. And from there, I came home and was working at a notorious law firm. The Italian guy gave me a shot. Everybody, come home, they usually want to work sanitation or garbage because they don't really take no degree of thinking, when you work in sanitation.
He's on a roll too.
Yeah. People calling me like crazy, but yeah, it don't take no degree of thinking, when you work sanitation. So I was like, nah, they treated me like trash for 20 years. I don't want to come out and work with trash. I want to come out and I landed a spot in the firm. Then, the brother, gave me a shot with the city, man, and did 10 years with the city, and I love the city. I love my city, and I, resigned from the city last year and trying to tap into some development, real estate, man, and trying to create housing and have created housing for our people. So yeah, it's been a journey, fellas. Definitely been a journey, man.
Tariq Richard and Tracy Sifax would agree with you because they're both doing the same thing, and there's something we can all figure out how to do.
That's right.
We need to own where we live.
Right. That's right. And the book come from, we do time, they do business. As a young kid, straight out of high school, 18 years old, I realized and sat in that cell, watching out that cell door, that black bodies serve as an economic stimulus. Crime is business. I look at, I'm inside area now in Burlington. They created they built a prison called Southwood State Prison, and prior to building that, it was raw land. It was rural. It was raw land, and black bodies. They built that prison, and black bodies filled it up, and now they got skyscrapers down there. They got businesses everywhere. It's thriving now in that community, based off that prison. Everybody, majority work individuals in that town work at the prison. That's what seeing that and experiencing that for the first time, the economic impact of it, everything is surrounding everything is surrounding the business, and that's where the book We Do Time, they do business arrive from.
So how can folks get the book? Let's come to the book, and then as we wind down.
Right. So anybody that's from Newark, New Jersey, or anywhere in the tri-state area, they can go to the book, Source of Knowledge bookstore.
What is that source? Good. All right.
Yeah, Source of Knowledge bookstore is only one black bookstore in Newark that I know of, and they could copy it from there. Or Barnes and Noble, Amazon. It's circulating worldwide. And I would encourage to get, for individuals to get the book. If individuals are interested in saving their kids, and it's a story. It's a riveting story, and it's a piece that it's an educational piece as well. Where individuals can actually educate their kids on the steps not to take, and how business, how black bodies serve as an economic, a booming business in the prison industrial complex. Yeah.
Jailhouse lawyers, right? And you're that's part of your story, right? For the inmates are hugely important go-to resources, loved and respected by their comrades inside, hated by the authorities, but respected because of the knowledge of what they have in their hand and the fact that they're helping so many pictures. Mumia Abu Jamal himself, did a whole book, on jailhouse lawyers, and he's been down 43 years for the madness that he's been through. That's an important dimension of our world.
Yeah.
It is so organic to so much of our world that we need to appreciate. So I want to say I'm very proud of you, little bro. I didn't know you had it out. Right?
Yeah, yeah,
I'm glad to see that. Glad you
yeah,
got it out. We were talking
right,
about the importance of telling our stories better, doing this work. You've done better than just telling your
right,
stories. You put it in a damn book.
right,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Right. And that's
yeah,
what's up. So we
yeah,
want to salute you. We want to
yeah.
encourage everybody to go to Source of Knowledge to support that business and your business.
Yeah, I respect that, brother. You know,
Also,
we
back to Amazon. That white man got all the money in the goddamn world, right? Keep
right.
some of your money right here into our own community. And ask him the ritual question, so as I know we got to wind it down to
So,
get.
so the question that we have for you, my brother, is that what are you currently listening to? What's motivating you from the hip hop genre at this point?
hey, how you doing? And in order to understand, how you doing? In order to understand the youth, you have to listen to what the youth listen to. That's my model. You know, I like listening to Jay-Z, and putting the business aspect of the rap game. I like listening to Kanye. I like listening to the young brother, NBA, young boy. A lot of these youth is gravitating to him, and I really try to understand the lyrics. So that's really some of the main components of individuals I listen to.
Hmm.
Yep.
Well, good, my brother.
Yeah.
Zai, we're gonna have to do a book signing with this brother, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if it's and I'm glad they got the book. That's important because that's that that's we got. I've got one Sunday for a book on Malcolm that's coming up, and the space is busy and the space needs to be busy, right? And then for all of its busyness, right, folks come in and check and go out. They need to come in and not go out empty-handed,
Yeah. That's right.
right? Holla if you hear me.
That's right. That's right. That's real.
But I think that around what Tut was just saying, and this brother's background. I think that when I was coming up, they had a program called Scared Straight.
Oh,
Right. Yeah.
And I think that having you brothers who have survived that. Remember what the mayor said when he came out down at Delaney Hall. He was there for a couple of hours. He said he had no idea how you guys go there and do years. He did a
That's
couple
right.
of hours, and he was trying to
Right.
figure out how the hell y'all do all that time.
Right. That's right.
So
That's
we
right.
definitely need to do a book signing, but more importantly,
Yeah.
we need to have a whole bunch of young brothers come to that book signing so that not only can you sign that book, but really, you all can have a real conversation
Right.
based around that whole concept. We do time, they do business. I love the title, my brother.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
100%.
I
Yeah,
love
bro.
that.
Yeah.
So we want to
Appreciate
thank you
that.
brother, for coming through, man. We
Yeah.
appreciate you, man.
I appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for having me. For
Keep
sure.
your head up, beloved. Keep pushing. We see you.
Yes, sir. All right, brother. Peace.
All right.
Peace. All right, man. I see, them in the background, but I don't know. They're not on camera, so not really sure if I just sent Marquis a message.
Okay.
I see the brother was trying to come in.
I was trying to come in. Tahir was trying to come in. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Hey, peace, Mark.
Peace, family. How y'all doing?
Good, brother.
There you go. There they come. They're coming in. They're coming in.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, Tahir can get on. Tahir can get on camera and get some stuff together. Right?
Yeah, I'm trying to get to a better area with a better service.
All right.
About the problem.
Thank y'all for having us. Thank y'all.
Most definitely, as always, it's a pleasure and I love coming on. Love the convo. Being able to hear that last dialogue, that was some good stuff, man. Always good content.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But those are real conversations, man, that unfortunately, we don't like to have those conversations until there's tragedy. You know what I mean? But the truth is, man, we need to have those conversations so that we can share that with these young brothers so that, we can help them along the way, especially around that whole concept of domestic violence. That's a conversation we got to get to, man, because for most of us, it's difficult when someone tell you something is over, man, for you just to, have enough confidence just to move on with your life, man. You know, so
Yeah,
that was an important conversation. I think with all of us, man, as men, we're gonna have to have those conversations with young boys to kind of help them get through it, man. Because killing somebody's daughter, that's just not acceptable. You know?
yeah.
But Marquise, we want to thank you, brother. As usual, you're doing your producer duties. We want to thank you, Marquise, the producer. You know what I mean?
Yes,
We
sir.
appreciate it. So
No
you want to go
problem.
and introduce your guests, man, and let's see if we can get into it. Well,
Yeah,
Tahir ain't no stranger to the show, though. But
nah, I ain't no stranger.
so
But well, we got my brother Tahir Whitehead, retired NFL linebacker, uh, retired from the Detroit Lions, and the founder of the Tahir Whitehead Foundation. Thank you for coming on, Tahir, with us today. We want we want to talk to Tahir about what he got coming up next weekend, the Tahir Whitehead Weekend Experience that's being hosted right here in the city of Newark, his hometown. On Friday, we have a youth conference that'll be held at Central High School. Uh, and on Saturday will be our football camp, Tahir's annual football camp at Nat Turner Park, which was approved to be named the Tahir Whitehead Sports Complex at Nat Turner Park. So we
wow.
doing some great things, great things. So Tahir, you just want to talk about Friday and what people should expect, and on Saturday, I should also come out and get some good drills.
100%. As always, I appreciate you, my brother. Always fighting for me. Always, all you do in the city with encouraging, your team, your players, championships, city work, all things, man. Just, trying to get more and more people on board with a lot of the things you're doing, we're doing, and what's going on in the city of Newark. Um, but yeah, as always, it's a pleasure you guys having me. I'm excited this year to be at in the first annual youth conference. Just always looking for ways to expand and what we're doing in the community through not just sports, but also academics and, just career and job readiness. Just always trying to, think forward, thinking of ways to how we could continue to progress our lives, ourselves, and always spiritually, financially. And, you know, um, for me, it's just with the youth conference, it being on uh, Friday, July the 25th. It's surrounding a lot of those things I just mentioned, but also, mental health, overall ability, physical health, and just getting everyone, both the parents and the children, to understand what this landscape is looking like in the NIL space. So trying to teach them about different careers, being able to have confidence going into job interviews, talking to them about those types of things, getting them to understand the NIL aspect in sports and the importance of financial literacy. And the earlier you learn it, the better you are, the better off you are. In addition to that, just all of the talks around mental health, how to get those resources that you need for not just yourself, for loved ones, for friends, and then we just kicking off or finishing off that day on Friday with a fun day. Have some food, get a chance to go out, have some fun, on the field. Um, and then, bounce houses as always. I'm a big kid. I like to have the water slides out there in the bounce houses. So being able to, talk, have fun in the community, just have everyone out, have something for everyone, and being able to talk to them about, all of these different things or how we could come closer together. Similar to the last segment, right? It's about community, having these deep dives, these deep talks about how we can continue to push the community forward. And then you transition to the next day, July the 26th, and we have the camp, the annual camp, but there's also a 7-on-7 component this year, and the winners get an opportunity to win jerseys. Win some new uniforms for their program. So, I'm excited about that. Looking for the kids in a lot of the schools in the city, definitely the Newark, public schools or Essex County schools come out and compete to see who's gonna get those unis. So, just bringing that competitive nature out, but then also showing, being able to see people from different places come out and enjoy themselves and just learn from the different people, the coaches and volunteers that's going to be able to pour into them. And just I'm a firm believer in each one teach one. Learned that growing up, where in order to be a leader, you got to be able to see what it looks like, and that's why I always like bringing the younger kids and doing the K through 12 camp to be able to have the younger kids look up to the older kids that's in high school and see what it looks like and how hard they have to work to get there, and then you work back down the chain from the high school kids looking at the younger kids like, man, I remember when I was that age and how I wanted to get to where I am now. So it's the constant reminder of being a leader, but then also knowing how to be the follower. So, I just kind of paused there because I could keep going. I'm doing this community work is definitely near and dear to my heart. But, I think ultimately, just getting the information out there on what we can continue to do together. So, yeah.
Tahir,
Well,
thank
two
you for the
things.
great work you're doing.
One, Marquis, you got to give us the link for that, right? Because that needs to definitely go on blast. And Tahir, everything you said about what we doing, you also should retell your story because you were blessed to to make the right moves when some of us have made the wrong moves and had to figure it out along the way, the hard way.
Right.
Tell your story that got you going.
For me, started with me, looking up to my older brother. He, was the one that got me motivated to play football. We're 2 years apart, and started at 9. Started off playing for the Central Ward Cougars, right? Where, I'm a newly, found member of the board, and just, excited about that, about being able to pour into my old program that gave me my first opportunity. And, and honestly, it's, from there, went through the Pop Warner program in Newark and transitioned to high school. Went to Westside High School. Westside High School was where I played football, and all 4 years. And then was fortunate enough to have the opportunity and got earned the scholarship to Temple University. Um, and then from Temple University, started as a freshman, made the team, was made the honor roll, was on the Dean's list, all that good stuff. And, just started to take my academics more seriously in college than I did in high school, which earned me the opportunity to, earn the scholarship. Um, and then you fast forward 4 years there. I was fortunate enough to get drafted to the Detroit Lions in 2012. After 6 years there, 2 years in Oakland with the Raiders, a year in Arizona, no, a year in Carolina, then a year in Arizona. So retired September of 2022, and I've been blessed. Continue just being able to be there more with family. Um, Continue to be more involved in the community, and just think about ways like this to continue to encourage more young men to be able to make it out, but then come back and pour into the next generation, understanding that we need mentors, we need more solid men, grounded men to continue to pour into these young men that are lost, to prevent situations and tragedies like you were just describing with the young man, taking the young lady's life. So, just getting them to understand how to process their emotion and not deal with everything with violence, and understand that we're better off working together instead of against each other or seeing each other as ops. So now, then, transition from there, been, doing some development and real estate stuff myself, but, out here in Seattle now, just doing some coaching stuff with the Seahawks.
Wow, wow, wow. Let me ask you this, just right on that same level, right? You mentioned your big brother, right? And you quite a mentor, right? We love, definitely appreciate what you've given back to our town, right? Coaches. Who were some of the coaches that really had that impact on you that got you going?
Hey, in Pop Warner, I had Coach German, and Coach Tyrone. Um, they used to be hard on me. That's when there was a few times I almost quit. And I'm just like, look, I didn't sign up for all this. I want to go tackle people. I don't want to be bear crawling no hill over there by that used to be by Hank Aaron Park on Court Street. Um, but they were the ones that really taught me to have the discipline. Then as I call them pops, my high school coach Brian Logan, you know, um, still to this day continue to pour into me and encourage me to want to get into the same track of coaching. So, just he's always been, near and dear to my heart. He's like a father to me. And then, outside of Coach B, Coach Lee, he's over there. They over there at Weekway now. Even though I'm a rough rider through and through. I kick it with the Indians a bit because of load, but he I had Coach Al Golden. When I went to Temple, poured into me to be able to understand the psychological part of the game and just the mental piece and the just at that level, what it took. So continue to build on my understanding, my knowledge, along with Coach D'Onofrio. So it's like, and I could jump to the league. You got Jim Caldwell or Bill Sheridan, just go down the line of guys that's helped me. Now here in Seattle, we got Leslie Frazier. Just got tons of guys that's been pouring into me that make me want to give back to the game of football.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yes,
Good
sir.
stuff. And that's
So,
important. That's important. Go ahead.
Tahir, you talked about, how you give back to the community. This will be your 11th year football camp here in the city of Newark. Every year you get back, you train these young people, you give them the motivation that they need. It's the peak of starting their high school season, their Pop Warner season. What you look forward to mostly. The impact you look to make in this upcoming week when you come and you mentor these young people.
For me, it's about that feedback. For me, it's about that energy, the smiles, the feedback from doing a great deed for some, just giving someone, an outlet, an escape for a day, where you can go out there and just meet new people and it's all love, it's all great energy. Every year, it's grown, and for me, that's what I look forward to is just being able to be there, right? Like I'm gonna have to leave. We start training camp on the 22nd. It's like, look, I had to let them know, let the coaches know, and they understood. Like, man, I have this, my camp. It was planned every year. I look forward to being there. They understood, so I'll be missing 2 days in training camp. Come out there to pour into, a lot of the young people that that'll be there. So, this next weekend, I'm looking forward to the competition, and then, but most importantly, getting everyone to understand it's about community. No matter what team you play for, it can always be um, It can always be for and you can always end up on another team. You can always be able to play with one of your friends somewhere else or down the line. So, it's all about like sportsmanship. It's about respect. It's about discipline. It's about putting your mind on something that you want to accomplish. So that's really what the weekend is about. It's about encouraging them young men, the young ladies, right? Because I want to make sure that everyone understands that this camp is not only for boys, right? It is a boys and girls camp. Ages it's K through 12, and it's like you're starting to see the ladies get more involved with the flag football and their sports teams. And I played high school football with a girl, right? So I always want to make sure that, hey, we get as many people out there that want to come out there and enjoy a day of being active, right?
Yeah,
Because it's a part of life. It keeps you going, So
absolutely. So Tahir, you talked about, the young ladies joining, starting to get involved in football. Here at your alma mater, the Central Cougars, we got young ladies getting involved in football,
mhm.
playing tackle football. We got 12-year-olds. We got three females, on the football team. And they say one of the challenges is, well, not the guys looking at them as just they're female. What encouragement would you give them young ladies to build on their athletic ability?
Believe in themselves. It's like, look, as long as you believe in yourself and you know that that's what you want, just you don't got to talk about it. Just show everybody, the belief that you have, where they'll start to believe in you as well. Then your teammates start to believe you. So just put in the work, and everything else will follow. Just keep betting on yourself.
And my final question, I'll let the fellas ask any other question. My final question is, the Central Cougars are celebrating 40 years of excellence, 40 years of organization, Pop Warner organization. It's really unheard of. An organization staying around that long, 40 years. How much do this 40-year anniversary mean to you and other alumni from the organization?
I think it's a major milestone, and it means a lot because for an organization, to be around in Newark for 40 years, that says a lot. So it says a lot about the work that's being done in community, about the coaches, the organization. So for me, it makes me proud because that's where I started. As I stated earlier, that they get that I'm a firm believer in just you gotta loyalty, right? So they were loyal to me. You guys were loyal to me all these years, gave me the opportunity. So it's only right I be loyal to the program. So for me, it's about I'm happy that's why I'm happy to be involved.
And I want to make it clear, Tahir is not just involved on the field; he's involved off the field. On me and Tahir do a lot of projects together. He poured into this organization. He's involved in the community. Another project we got coming up, Tahir, is something that's dear to me. We always talked about doing something in the name of my dad. To keep my father's legacy alive. How he poured down in the community, even in his life. In the street life, he still felt like giving back was important to him. So, we have on September 18th the Kirby Lewis Memorial Golf Outing, Scholarship Golf Outing that's being hosted. And Tahir
You
is a
beat me
board
to it.
member.
I was coming to you, son. You got it. Keep rolling.
And Tahir is a board member. Tahir, the importance of this golf outing is just not to recognize my dad's legacy, but how we're going to be able to give young people who graduated this year scholarships, give them book scholarships to encourage them on their journey on higher education. So, you know, that's important to you too, Tyler. So maybe you want to elaborate on that as well.
I was about to say it's I think first and foremost, you know, when you have someone it makes sense as to who you are, right? And I always believe in who you are and the legacy in which you come from. You want to continue not just the legacy, but of your dad, but what you intended to do with the events in the golf outing and how you wanted to build on it, on what you do, what you've already done in the community through, you know, that outing. Golf, you know, I think, you know, it's another opportunity to get, you know, people involved where you're around other people with probably the same interests, different interests, but it's about networking and building. So just that ability to be able to instill into the young men and women, and then coming out there, being able to walk away with a scholarship, you know, opportunity, and you know, I think it's great work. So for me, you know, I'm always going to stand behind, you know, when you know someone's doing good or just in the community. Um, because that's what it's all about. What's life without people to share those good times and good vibes and energy with.
I want to just go back to something, man, before we run out of time, and have you elaborate on it because, obviously, I hear all of the great things you're doing, man, and mad respect for you, in terms of coming back to your city, having a field named after you, all of that. But one of the things you talked about, man, I thought was that you mentioned. You talked about young men being able to process their emotions, right? That's big, man. What can you talk about that a little bit?
No, situations as you know what was just transpired is not the first, right? And we understand that it won't be the last. Generally, that and it's unfortunate, but those scenarios occur when you have you know someone that's either a not in their right state of mind, right? They're dealing with some type of mental illnesses or disabilities that sometimes cannot be seen, right? And we don't know what it looks like. We're still trying to understand how to coexist with someone with those types of things instead of judging them. You know, doing our best to more so understand when someone has an ailment and or the or you know just someone is falling on a hard time and they want to be able or they can't process their emotions the same way that someone that's sane or you know that's stable can, right? Because at one point or another we all fall through some type of state where our mental capacity is challenged. So for me it's about being understanding, but then you know black men, like males, young black males especially, you know, we walk around and pride ourselves on being hard and being, you know, tough and, you know, having that grit. So, you know, I see also that football doubles down on that. You
Mm.
know, where over the years where you're being taught to be, you know, this overly masculine male where it's like, oh, I wear my heart on my sleeve or I stand on business, so I'm not taking those shorts. But ultimately, when you really look at it, it's all emotion and it's all a matter of, you know, you not being able to deal with words and then flash out and or express yourself without resorting to violence. You know, so where you when you realize that's how a lot of tension and issues really arise. Whereas if you sat down and really talked about the root of the issue, is like most people, you know, your the problem is not with you. You just was the person that was in the wrong place or wrong time. And
Mm.
if it wasn't an emotional attachment to a person that you're trying to harm, right? It's this person was going through something and there was someone happened to be there. You're in the grocery store and then this person's having a bad day and they shoot up the grocery store. Well, what's the root? Why? Like you didn't do anything to him, but it was something that was festering in that person, right? So it's like, what's the root of the issue that you have when you want to
just fight somebody because they look at you funny or they call you a certain name that you don't agree with. It's just about being able to understand the process, slow your mind down, and be able to use your words. And I'm not saying be no pushover, be no punk, or no chump or anything like that. But it's like everything, just you'll get a lot further being able to use your mind than result in the violence and then ending up dead or in jail yourself, right? And keeping all of these petty beefs and wars constantly going unnecessarily because somebody can't be man enough for the bigger person or mature enough to use their words and come together.
Hey man, I mean those are some wise words, my brother. I can see why you're an excellent coach. Because a lot of the young brothers, need to be able to get someone who got that kind of wisdom, right? Who can share that. The Bible says young men are for war and old men, are for counsel. So, appreciate that, man. So let's remind everybody again, Tahir, of your event that's coming up on July 20th, the youth conference.
Yes, sir. And I appreciate those words. I've had a lot of great people pour into me. Even Reverend Williams. Who took me under his wing when I was over there at West Side. But it's like Rev, he's like it's only right that I pay it forward.
Yeah.
So that's what it's all about, and I'm a firm believer in that. So. Um, when I see young men, even like a Don Schuler, in Notre Dame, doing big things, and he come back and he's able to do his first camp, and then within his camp, he take the time to show me love and shout me out. Is like that's when it's like okay, it's working, right? It's not about me; it's about people coming back and then doing the same thing. Each one teach one, and you reach as many people as you can to bring them along with you. So I'm looking forward to the camp, the youth conference next Friday, uh, July 25th, over at Central High School. Um, going to speak on career building, education, academic achievement, also career readiness, interview readiness. Going to speak on mental health, and just overall general health at the youth conference. And that is from 10 to 3 over at Central High School. So please, if you haven't, register is not too late, and have a good time afterwards. We're pouring to you, and then go out and get some food, and just be able to have a good time. Then the next day, in the same over at Nat Turner Park, we have the annual youth football camp, along with this year adding the 7-on-7 component tournament for both boys and girls, 7-on-7 teams. Not too late to register for that as well. You can go on my Instagram is T_DUB 0. Link is in my bio. But now I'm looking forward to a good time. Whoever comes out, I'm gonna, do my best to, give you whatever tools, that I can to help you continue to prosper. And then I'm looking for as many people to pour into me as well, right? I learn from my kids every day. But I want to make sure that we revisit my brother Marquise's his golf outing in honor of his father and the scholarship. Go ahead, Keith.
Also, I hear you.
Yeah.
What you say?
No, I was just saying, just giving the details again on the golf outing.
Oh yeah. So it's gonna be September 18th. Golf out September 18th. Weekway Park. 10 o'clock. We're gonna be out there. I'll send the information for everybody if you want to check out my Facebook. It's on my Facebook, Marquis Lewis on Facebook. And we're also gonna start a little website, but all information is out there. We hope that if also scholarship applications is available as well. Deadline is August 1st. We're trying to get as many young people to sign up for the scholarships as possible. So all that is on my Facebook page, Marquis Lewis.
Yep. Well, listen, man, we can't say how proud,
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm out here coaching. I'm sorry.
We see it. We see it. We see it. All good. That's in the spirit of what we're doing. And this
we
and
can't say
all
how
of every segment, I mean, this is such a typical night for what we call community radio, right? Look at all this community that we just lifting up just in these few minutes that we've had together so far since 6 o'clock. That's all good, Marquis. That's why we called you.
Yep. But again, Tahir, we're extremely proud of you, my brother. You leading the way on what it means to pay it forward, man. What it means to, go away and live your dream, but then don't forget about where you came from, and remember those kids, man, who got a dream like you. So we appreciate you, my brother. Your city loves you, and you got a home here, man. Anytime you need to come and have a conversation, with us or get some information out, all you got to do is call your producer Marquis, and he'll get it all done for you, man.
You better call us.
No, I appreciate it, my brother. As always, thanks for having me on. And
I'm so proud of Tahir, man. NFL stand for not for long, and he made it 10 years.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Nope, that's it, baby. Just try and teach as many as I can how to do it. So if not that, then we pivot, because the game, once the game in, there's other ways, so that's why I do, run other businesses, real estate development and stuff.
We look forward to those stories too.
So that's why I'm like, we're going to keep building it out, just giving opportunities for different development projects in the future to be able to teach them on site, have an on site type of curriculum or education. So it's a lot coming up, where I'm looking forward to. So we're going to be talking a lot about all these different things, but keep doing the great work that you brothers are doing. I commend you. I know it's greatly appreciated. There's always some bad actors out there. That you got to, fend off, and shoot down all this misinformation and BS nonsense. But keep fighting a good fight, brothers, and much love as always.
Yep. And so before you leave, Ty, we got to ask you that question, my brother.
Right.
Of course, we're a political hip hop radio show. And so what are you listening to, man? What's keeping you motivated right now, man?
Honestly, been listening to a lot of Shabuzi, but then that's been having me transition to a lot of like country. So, I was about to say, man, yeah, that's I've been finding myself really liking some country music lately.
They're great storytellers.
Yes. But I'm like, it's just a different style. But
Was Beyonce the catalyst or what?
Huh?
Was Beyonce the catalyst? Was she the spark for you going that way?
Nah, not at all. Yeah, my wife loved her some Beyonce. Done went to Beyonce the concert twice last week, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, okay, you could have that,
Right.
but nah.
Right.
So
yes, sir.
But nah, I appreciate y'all, fellas. Y'all have a great one, man. God bless and be safe.
Thank you, my brother. All right, man.
All right, thank y'all.
All right, Mark.
Marquis, right on. Keep doing it, son. Right?
Thank you.
The drum is on.
Great job, Mark.
Thanks.
Mr. Producer.
Coach,
See you later, Mark. Thanks, man.
You got it. Yeah, Marquis grew up in this stuff too. Remember when he was a baby trying to figure this out in high school?
Yeah,
man. That's right.
But I mean, that's the beauty of it, though, man. I think that particularly, man, not everybody, man, who make it out of this place as I come back. You know what I mean? Some people make it out, man.
Make it out. That's the whole thing. Make it out first and then come back. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. But I mean, we definitely got to give, our brother, tremendous kudos, man, for, coming back and bringing his talent and, and really, I mean, particularly when you talk about the, because boxing did it for me, right?
Yeah, for both of us. Discipline was huge.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things is that once you learn how to fight, you don't get into fights, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Once you got it, you ain't got nothing to prove to nobody out
once
here.
yeah, you know, I mean, it's a whole different world, though. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? Like compared to what we came up in, Zaid. I mean, we were squared up. These kids don't do that. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so they don't have the level of confidence that we had, coming up. So when Tahir talks about, that's why, what rang a bell for me was when he said, them kids being able to process their emotions. That is true. You know what I mean? Because you make mistakes, man,
That's
when you get
makes
emotional.
deadly mistakes, not being able to process your emotions.
That's right. That's
And
right.
all you do is one bad mistake, and your behind is either dead or sent up for a long time.
Right. And that's what you heard, when you heard Tut, and when you heard Street Council,
All
when they
those
talked about how long they, the mistakes they
right.
made and all the years that it took from them with their lives. I mean, it's hard to believe, you know, but but remember the judge doesn't have any sympathy on giving, young black men long sentences,
That's
right?
right.
In terms of them, trying to, recover emotionally or recover mentally, which is one of the things that Tahir was just talking about is going to be part of what he's doing. He's talking about that whole mental development, because a lot of that is what drives the violence in our community, right?
Absolutely.
Is the fact that there's a lot of mental illness, right? You know,
Trauma,
and some stuff we got to deal with,
unresolved trauma,
right?
and what that does in terms of leading to mental illness. Absolutely.
Right. you know so when you talking to a lot of these young brothers and sisters, and when Tut was saying that these girls are fighting and doing all of that, I mean, you gotta, that's some real stuff, man. you know and that's why when you think about, when we talk about what Larry is doing, and coming, and just the whole theme of the whole show tonight, you know what I mean, and you begin to think about, his mentoring program. I mean, this is absolutely amazing, man. You know what I mean? Just to talk about that and celebrate, young black boys. Because the society don't even think they're important, man. you
And
know
creating what we call safe spaces for them just to be.
yeah, yeah. So with
So
that
he's here.
being
Bring him
said,
in.
brother, we want to welcome you, brother Larry, to the show. Welcome to All Politics Are Local. I stumbled up on a piece that our brother Al Tariqa did, and I was just absolutely blown away. Having read that piece that he laid out, and was like, wow. Let's talk about this inaugural program that you're going to have in the city tomorrow. So let's talk about it. I know that you've got a number of things that are going to be going on all day in the city, and you know it sounds like something I've heard before. That Black Boy Joy Festival. Didn't they have something like that called the Black Girls something that they were doing? They used to do every year. I don't know if they still do it, but when they were doing
I know what
that,
you're
I
referring
gotta
to,
tell
Ed.
you,
Yeah, that exists.
it does exist.
Yeah.
But when they were doing that,
Girl.
brother, I thought, wow, we need to do one for young black boys. So thank you for hearing my quiet prayer, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
So,
welcome to the show, man.
yes, thank you for having me. I truly appreciate the honor, and I must say, the when I read what Alter Kinney posted about me, I was impressed myself, and I wanted to talk to myself after reading that. After reading what he
Yeah.
said, so thank you so much. Thank you so much. I do want to quickly apologize that just I am moving. I've been running all day trying to get everything situated for tomorrow. I had to get, so I'm still running. I just picked up the van, and I had to be on daddy duties. I picked up my son from the airport because he just came back, in town from a pre-college program out in Atlanta. So I had to run to the airport and trying to get the van and be ready for tomorrow morning. So I just want to apologize right now for
That's all
my
good.
movement. So I'm not noisy again.
It's all good. You're here, and that's what we do.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to say, Brother Zaid, I think it's called Black Girls Rock.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's what
That's
it
it.
was.
And
Yeah,
I've had those same sentiments, which it was a beautiful thing.
right.
But it just put me in the mind of we need some Black boy joy. I didn't want
Yep.
to say Black boys rock 'cause I didn't want them to feel like I was trying to compete with
Right.
Black girls rock. So I'm like, we need some Black boy joy.
Yeah.
Our boys don't have joy, so we started the Future Leaders of Tomorrow, which is my nonprofit organization. We created Black Boy Joy, which was we started a Black Boy Joy retreat, and then this like a spill off. But we'll talk about that a little bit as we go. I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about it, man. Let's what was the catalyst for this? What was it that made you want to do this? I mean, obviously, I hear the same thing when I saw Black Girls. I said the same thing. I said, man, with with everything going on with young Black boys. And if you had heard, I know you were running, but we had a running theme all night. That's something we planned,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
we just had all of the brothers talking about, what's going on with young Black males, and just to have you as, lay it out on the final piece for us, man. This is great. But so what was the real catalyst for you, man? Just to get this started and to make it happen.
Yeah, so thank you for that question. So I've always been interested in working with Black boys. When I started the nonprofit organization in 2000, when I was in undergraduate school, we started out working with Black boys. Well, let's do a basketball program, and we did the basketball program to ask the carry. We called it the carrot at the time to pull them in, and then we gave them different workshops like gang violence and drug in the community, bridging the digital divide, college readiness. So we're doing programs around that. So, but what made me start the Black Boy Joy um, is that I worked. So I worked in the schools and I worked did after school programs in the school, and every space I went into, Black boys were getting yelled at. Black boys were getting in trouble. Black boys were getting bullied. Black boys weren't listened to. And I started to feel like, what is going on? So, and I started to feel like and Black boys were getting in trouble just from doing basic juvenile stuff. Now, I'm not talking about the stuff where they being destructive, but just simple stuff. And so I started to see a pattern of one, these over extreme behaviors towards boys just from doing simple things that other kids or not other kids weren't getting in trouble for. So I was like, when we started the program, because I took a pause, then I relaunched the program, and I wanted to be more into character development, um, academic development, and social emotional development. So I looked around just at the community itself and tried to look at three things that we were missing. And I felt that we were missing pride. We lost pride in people and who we were and who we are. I felt that in a sense we lost character. And I think most importantly, I felt we lost our identity. So I figured if I create this program called Boys, build our own youth support system where we are using those three pillars as a factor, we would try to create some of this. So the Black Boy Joy piece came out strictly out of the Black Girls Rock thing. I'm being 100% honest with you. I remember, I think it was around 2000 or like 2019. It was this major, very important push to empower Black women and Black girls. But I recall it's like Black boys are watching this. So what are the messaging are we sending to Black boys? So then I said, you know what? Our boys need to be happy. So I started off with the Black Boy Joy Retreat 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, where we just went over the weekend. We spent the time camping and the weekend overnight. and just in the woods, and just allow them to escape the pressures of being a boy, being pressures of being a teenager, being the pressures of being a black boy in the city, and just drop the guards down, being the pressures of social media, and then the most important, have genuine fun. So we did that, and that was a success. But I didn't reach the numbers of boys that I wanted to. So during one of our meetings, we said, let's do a day of joy, because the thing was joy, Black Boy Joy. Let's do a day of joy, and we're gonna do a Black Boy Joy festival where just boys come out, let's have some fun, let them know we can have fun, and let them know that we see them. And if I can, just really quickly, what really pushed me to like do this and have my team like push it for something like this was that because of the unfortunate incident that happened with the alleged incident that happened with the young man and the police officer, where they said, it was the shooting of the police officer. I'm sorry. I started seeing negative images of black young boys around a lot, and it just took me back to when I was growing up, and I remember seeing negative images of black men plastered all over there. And I just wanted to let the boys know that that is not our image. That is not who we are. That's not who you guys are. So I just want to show a different light. They could come together. They can have fun. You are intelligent. You are bright. And we love it. So that was the whole piece around the Black Boy Joy Fest, because I just saw a negative image of boys being plastered around. And I know the summer gonna come. So I just figured it's going to be the summertime. It's going to be heightened. So I just want to try. I just gave a different story for Black boys. So that's how the Black Boy Joy Festival came about.
Mm. And what year was that? What year did you say?
The Black Boy Joy Retreat. I initially started the Black Boy Joy Retreat I think about 2 or 3 years ago, 2021, 2022. About 2.5 years ago, I started the Black Boy Joy Retreat, where we took them out. And this will be the third year. This upcoming fall will be the third time I've done it. So I think about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I did the first Black Boy Joy Retreat. And I'll tell you, when we took the brothers out for the Black Boy Joy Retreat, none of them wanted to come. I met many of them that day because I launched it up and did some recruitment. I met many of them that day. None of them wanted to come. But by the time that Sunday came, none of them wanted to go home.
Wow.
So that let you know that, we there's something here. So I'm like, we can do this.
Put in that, Larry, because that's important. Our work that we do in this town is from a trauma-informed paradigm.
Yeah.
Hypervigilance.
Yeah.
An environment where we all always watching. We all are, even though us ain't doing nothing, right? Just because of what's in our community in terms of how violence can pop off like that. There's a hypervigilance that so many of us live with, especially those of us that have been out there and have done some stuff and know that, we know how anyone can make it pop off. But to be able to go out away from that environment into an environment where you ain't got to do that, you got to breathe.
Oh my!
You can breathe, you can take it down, and you can think.
Yes.
And one of the things that trauma robs us from is the capacity to dream. Right? You can recover your imagination, you can recover your capacity to dream, and you start thinking different.
Yes. Absolutely.
Are always good beginnings.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. And I'll tell you, just for that point, I'll tell you a story. The first time we went, we was on the retreat, and these are young men that come from all kinds come, but backgrounds, they in good schools, they have good grades, but you hear them talking about, and none of them have the personality to be street, quote unquote street, but they were talking about street life. They were trying to talk about gang life. They talk about all the negative attributes. So I was listening to them, and I was asking. I just listen to them. So then I said, "Why are you having these type of conversations? Like, why? Like, what's the reason?" And they said, the life is fascinating to them, and it exposes them to a lifestyle that they don't get from working class people. And one of the words he said to me directly, it was that people like me are considered, I'm gonna use like bees, because we are not flashy, we are not showing our wealth. We're not showing what we're doing. So they don't look at us as role models because it seems as though we're struggling. So then we had a conversation on that. And then later on in the day, once we got back to the room, you begin to hear them talk about who had the best grades, who had the highest GPA. So then I'm listening, I'm like, these are the type of conversations I'd be having. So to your point, it allowed them to get into a space that once they was out there, they felt they had to carry on the image. But then later on in the day, they realized they could be who they are. We're just talking about who has the best grades.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. So that's
Be normal.
yes, exactly. Be normal. Be normal. Exactly. Exactly. You know. So that let me know that I have to continue this and have to continue to push. It's to continue to expose young people to a different persona, a different lifestyle. Let them know that you don't have to walk a certain way. You could be you. You could be who you are, and that's okay. That's cool.
And you know, when you say that, they are cool.
They are.
Right? They are cool. They cool kids. The problem is, Larry, is that there's not enough spaces for them to be kids.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
And what you said a moment ago is that, you know, when they got there, right, they all wanted to leave, but by the time it was time to go, nobody would leave.
Nobody wanted to leave. Nobody wanted to leave. And one kid specifically told me, I'm sorry, he was like, that Saturday night, because we're leaving that Sunday, he said, he was one of the ones that was like pushing back. He said, thank you for doing this, because some of us really needed this. I'm like, that's all I needed. I'm like, this is why we do it. Like that right there, like you don't know what you need because you never had it until you get it.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm blown away, man, because you know, I hear Mayor Baraka, you know, when he comes on the, you know, we produce a show here called the Mayor's Forum. And when he comes on every month, he always talks about how difficult it is for us to grow up in this place.
Yeah.
Right? This particular place. And so, you know, for you to do what you did for those young men and continue to do, but then for them young brothers to have enough respect for you to let them, because remember, you know, we have another brother who comes on that has a men's group, and we always talk about vulnerability. Remember, you know, and if that's hard for us as men, kids who don't even know themselves, right? You know, and you know, they're trying to put on airs about who they're really not, and you gave them that space over the weekend to really be able to just be kids, man.
Yeah, just be kids. You know? It's be kids.
And that's not enough. That you know, there are not enough spaces like that where these kids can be kids and then have men. Remember this, Larry, being able to have somebody like you to have a man that they can trust, because you know that's hard for a lot of these young brothers too, because they don't them kids don't have men in their lives that they can trust.
Absolutely.
So you know, I remember the mayor having this conversation with us and with Do It All, Councilman Kelly, when, you know, before he got elected. And he was talking about when he was coming up, the mayor was saying this, he was saying, you know, there was this thing about nobody smiling. You know, everybody walking around looking mean.
Yes.
You know, like what is that about with us? Like, you know.
Let me tell you, brother. Sorry, but that just hit a nickel. While I was planning for the Black Boy Joy Fest, I was trying to find images of black boys smiling, like stock pictures, and it was so difficult.
You had to do some work, didn't you?
Yes, it was so difficult to find black boys. I'm like, we got to change that narrative. Like, we're gonna smile. That's what that's what tomorrow is about. That's what tomorrow is about. It's about joy, smiling, happiness, being loved on, being appreciated. We want to show our boys the diversity of our men, and we also want to show our black boys it's okay to smile. We don't have to sit there and have our face all screwed up. We want to have images of my agenda is to capture pictures of black boys having joy, having fun, smiling, laughing, goofing off. That's we have to show that it's okay. Like that tough guy image, that tough guy look is something of the past. It's okay to smile. It's okay. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to cry. You know, all that stuff is okay. So I'm like, my mission in doing this my program, this retreat, and everything is change the false narrative that's been pushed down to us and made us believe who we are. Like we got to get back to understanding this with that image that we see and that we've been told about and that we've been like hypnotized about and brainwashed about. That's not the image of who we are. I want to definitely try to change those images, and that's what that's what all of tomorrow is about. It's just pure joy. Nobody's coming in there having no type of negative attitudes, no type of negative music, no type of negative behavior. From the volunteers going down. Everybody is like, if you can't do that for this day, then don't come.
Yeah. Listen, I love that, man, because I mean, you've created a space for them to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because for most of us, man, this is like, even as men, when we have different brothers come on here, we say that, we need to get together as men and be vulnerable. But the problem is you don't know who you could really be vulnerable with and not have them take advantage of you, right? And so you could imagine what them kids feel like, right? Because remember, they got to walk through the community, right?
Absolutely.
And so, you want me, because I'm sure you heard this, Larry. Me and Zaid, of course, we've heard it growing up, boxing and all of that. You gotta put the mean face on.
The
problem is that there's a time and space for that.
That's right.
You walking around, you got the mean face on all the time. You don't know to take it off and put it on.
Exactly. You begin to think that's your face.
And you know what this remind me of, Larry, us talking about that. I remember hearing Malcolm say this one time. He said that I don't know if I read it in the book, I heard it in a speech. He said that he used to go to this office every day. And he said that there was this lady who used to just be mean all the time. Just for no reason at all. And he would walk in every day and he would say, I mean, do you ever smile? Like is the world that bad? And it was just never an opportunity. And what he said is that he said she had finally said to him that she didn't know who she could trust and who she could be with. And that's real for us.
That is real. That is real for us. Yes.
Because if you'd heard some of the brothers that were on, we were talking to earlier, we were talking to guys who did 20 years in prison, who started their own programs now, coming back to Newark and got these nonviolent programs and so forth. But when you hear that, you what you realize is that, and I was saying this to Zaid, you realize that there's so much mental illness
that's
going on amongst these young boys because of what they're seeing and what they're hearing. Like you were just simply saying the music, right? That we're not going to have any of that negative music, because I was just listening to one of the things that Tahir was saying, one of the former NFL football players. He was saying they're not going to have any of that stuff next Friday. Right? No drill music, none of that crazy stuff.
None of it.
Because that's feeding them kids' spirit.
Absolutely. And
you walking around angry. But I will never forget, man, when the mayor said that at an outing we all were at, and he was saying that, the hardest thing to get is to get these kids just to smile.
Just to smile. Go ahead, brother. No, and let me tell you, you would not believe some of the messaging I was getting from people that was close to me when I say I'm doing a Black Boy Joy Fest. Just connecting joy and blackness was a soft thing, was a feminine thing. It was like, I'm telling you, people, and it almost made me change. But I'm not changing it. It almost made me change Black Boy Joy, because the negative connotation that I was getting because this like correlating blackness with joy was looked at as something soft.
Right.
That blew it. It kind of made me upset. It kind of made me angry. I didn't go lie to you, but it made me like, this is insane. Like we as a people can't even be joyful without feeling like we're soft. And these are respected brothers that I knew, people that I knew, men that I knew that will make a comment about like, if I'm going to Black Boy Joe retreat, like, and they'll look and they'd have a. And I said, listen, I'm not changing. I said, we're going to change that. Well, that right there, what you're thinking, we're changing that. Like, everybody going to talk about Black Boy Joy. Because if we bring up Black Boy Joy and you automatically think it's something like soft or sensitive or anything other than pure happiness, we are screwed up. We are really screwed up, you know. And onto your trauma, I was a few years ago, my wife and I, we was talking about like family trauma and misplaced trauma, talk about, because back in the day, you know, no one ever talked about what was going on.
Right.
So things get passed down, and if we never undo trauma, that's just getting passed down and passed down and passed down, because we just looking through our own families and like, this is passed down trauma that no one is talking to and is not being healed. So we just got a bunch of trauma that we haven't talked about, that we're afraid to talk about, that we're not comfortable talking about, that we need to talk about. And part of the pride of the piece on pride in the program is that we got to be prideful. And even if it's like you said, like it's something negative about our community, if it's something negative about our family, something negative about who there is always something to be prideful of. And I think we forgot peace, that there is something to be prideful. I don't care what's going on in our community. I don't care what's going on in our families. Or and I was like, there is something you could take on to be prideful to, because I truly believe every family and every parent want what's best for their child. They may not have the proper way, or what we consider the proper way of explaining it or doing it, but they want what's best, I believe, for their family. And it's just that the trauma doesn't allow that to happen. So that's what the program is about. That was this weekend is about, just changing narratives and changing how Black boys view each other.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you didn't change the name, man, because you know one of the things I've heard coming up was don't let them steal your joy, you know, and you know you realize, man, that that is a blessing,
Yes.
And it's spiritual, man. You know what I mean? To be able to operate in joy, and be able to move forward in life. So I'm happy about that, man. So let's talk a little bit about what's going to take place tomorrow, man. How the day is going to start, and some of the people you got coming through, and how you're going to end up.
All right, so I am extremely excited. I'm gonna just say this about tomorrow. I'm nervous and excited because it's the first one. You never really know how it's gonna turn out. So we've been running around figuring out. So the day tomorrow we're getting started. Well, we're gonna be there early setting up, but the actual check-in and registration starts at 11 a.m. tomorrow. So if some people they're pre-registration, so they come in, they check in. You're going to get them a wristband. You're going to get a Black Boy Joy Fresh shirt. And then they're going to be walking in. So from 11 to about 11:40, 11:35, 11:40, we're going to have the check-in piece and get to walk around and see what's happening. Then we're going to bring them all in together around 11:40 to 11:55 just to explain the day. Explain what's the purpose of the day and what's the mission of the day. And then we have this thing we call the promise that we're going to recite to the young people. And then at 12 o'clock, we're going to open up with like a mini intro lesson on yoga with Ty everyday yoga. He's going to be there, so he can do an intro, a brief intro before he have his session. So just explaining to the young people what yoga is, what meditation is, and just show them that. But then you're going to have a piece later on once you get started. So we're going to have yoga. We're going to have haircuts. We're going to have bouncy house. We're going to have flag football. We're going to have chess. There'll be somebody brother coming down there teaching chess. We're going to have so all about the kids doing the haircuts. All about the kids. See, we have Ty Day doing the chess. We have Ty Day doing yoga. We have Do for Self doing the chess with Tariq Rahim. We have Dear Black Men. that will come down and do art exhibit. He's gonna teach young people art canvassing, installation. I'm sorry. We're gonna have flag football. We're gonna have soccer. It's really like a fun day for Black boys. We're even gonna have a mommy's corner for the mothers that's coming there with their young kids. And the day is all about the men and it's all about the boys. Moms, take a rest, relax yourself, and we got it. So we're gonna have a mommy's corner where we're gonna be doing things for moms. It could be a number of different things for moms that they could go there and they could relax and know their kids are safe, but also be a little bit pampered through and do some activities over there. So the moms, you bring your sons, you can stay if you want to stay. You're gonna have a space that we have a space for you. We're gonna have food there, we're gonna have ice cream there, we're gonna have popcorn. It's gonna be a whole day. Then the second part of the day, we're gonna be doing some team building activities where we go. The first part is gonna be like unstructured, where they can just go around and do what they want. You could do 3D printing. We're gonna have Steam, New Jersey doing 3D printing, so they could go do the printing, they could do the art, they could do the yoga, they could do the bouncy house, they could just run around, they could do the chess. So then the second half of the day, we're gonna try to make it a little more structured, where we want a little more team building activities. So we want the adults, we want men in the space. We're gonna have the men. We're gonna have everybody have wristbands. We're gonna have the men have their teams together, and then we're gonna do some team building activities. The team building activities are designed for fun, but it's also designed to bring young people out of their comfort zone and to challenge them a little bit and see how they deal with different situations. So it should be fun. We're gonna have water balloon fights. So it's gonna be an amazing day. It's just gonna be a day of just like fun. My team was laughing at me today when we walked down and we're gonna have the setup. And I said they're gonna register and they're gonna walk from real life into Black Boy Joy. So they go time warp into a Black Boy Joy. So they're walking through a time warp and they go into Black Boy Joy. So I'm extremely excited about tomorrow. I hope all the kids, all the boys come out and have fun and allow themselves to have fun, allow themselves to be challenged. And they start from 11 and we ended up around 5 o'clock.
I'll tell you, chess was the first tool that I used for conflict resolution. When I had,
say it again, brother.
Chess was the first tool for conflict resolution
that
I used when I started the Freedom School about 20 years ago. So
y'all I did Freedom School.
Y'all gonna learn this game. You're gonna learn how to think for yourselves.
That's right.
Watch this beef over this chess table. They went from banging each other out to shaking hands and getting it in on that.
That's board. Right. That's right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, Larry, let me ask you a question. Did you graduate from Rutgers?
No, I'm in Rutgers now, going to school for my master's in social work. I graduated from King University.
Because it said
Black men going
at Rutgers. So
say it again. What'd you say?
We need Black men going into social work.
Yeah.
We need to be the catalyst of our own healing.
Yes.
Right? All the social workers, the women, all the folks carrying all the problems is all the men.
Yeah.
And they wearing the sisters.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, good luck on that for real.
Oh, thank you. I finished my first year, so I'll be upcoming on my second year. So it was tough because going back to school after some time, that was an adjustment. As a full grown adult.
Oh yeah. I've done it. But listen, man, because when he said Rutgers, because me and Zaid are alumni.
Oh, great. I mean? Yeah.
But we did it a while back.
Yeah. Let me tell you, Rutgers pretty much changed the trajectory. Well, a friend of mine that told me about Rutgers changed the trajectory of where I was going, because I didn't go there as undergraduate, but I worked on a campus, and that just went. Someone told me I could go be on the campus. I grew up in 10 minutes away in James Baxter Terrace housing complex. So you can walk through there, but I never felt comfortable on campus until a friend of mine told me you could go use the computer, because I was at the library doing some work on look at my resume actually. He said you go to Rutgers. So I went into Rutgers, and then I end up loving the campus, and then I end up getting a job, and I just stayed working there as an undergraduate school student there. So Rutgers gave me the feel of being on campus. So I owe workers a great debt. Just from exposing me, because no one in my family went to college, so they just exposed me to that college life that I fell in love with. But I graduated from King University.
We had to fight for that. I'm gonna tell you
Yes,
something. Central
yes,
Hall,
yes.
Central Hall used to be right across the street. And when
Conklin.
I was at Rutgers undergrad,
Yeah.
you know, my work around police brutality started right there.
Yeah, Conklin Hall.
Y'all gonna leave the kids just walking across the campus,
Yeah.
going to and from high school would get arrested. No, y'all
Wow.
ain't messing with our kids. Right?
Wow.
This is Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah.
This campus is a part of their community.
Yeah.
And they need to be respected like that.
Yeah, yeah. So what happened? So when I started working there, when I launched my program in 2000, I would intentionally bring my students from Baxter Terrace onto the campus because I never felt comfortable on campus. I'm like, we're gonna do our program. I got the job in working in the library, and we brought the kids on the program. So we brought them on the program, and we did our 8-week series on at the library and at Rutgers University. So then, I'm like, this is your campus, so.
Your campus.
Yeah, it's about exposure, Larry. You know what I mean? Like, young Black kids being able to see that. I can't remember who said this, but you can't be what you don't see.
Right? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So, that's why your program is important. You create mentorships and them being able to be young boys and, have an opportunity to feel safe and all of that. I think, and remember, man, this is a lot of work. This is not something that, it's for the faint at heart, man.
Yeah.
So, I think that you ought to be congratulated. Like all them brothers I heard today, man.
Yes,
all of
you.
Just that whole concept of it takes a village is real.
Yes.
That it's going to take all of us, man, to be able to come back and help these boys. And that adage is true. I think, they say you might not be able to get all of them, but if you get one of them, Larry, right, that one, may come back
to get the others.
Right, and can change the world. Remember, Malcolm did it. He was that one that the Muhammad didn't know he would be that great, but he turned around and became great. And just like that little young boy you said that told you, when he had that conversation with you, he, the whole fact that when he got there, he wanted to go home. The end of it, that's the key, man. So, I want to say congratulations to you, man, and wish you all the luck in the world. And
thank you.
All politics are local. We started this radio show on the campus of Rutgers University.
Sure did.
Right?
Yeah.
15 years ago, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I would tell you that it is now, the only Black community show in the city of Newark. And anytime you want to come on, man, share anything, feel free to come through. We have a number of different programs that we put on here, but as my brother Zaid like to say, we're the drum, for the city of Newark, brother.
That's right. That's right.
So we definitely want to let you know, man, that after your show tomorrow, after your program tomorrow, we want you to come back and we want you to tell us, man, about what went on and. Even feel free if you want, man, to bring some of the kids to tell us what it's about, man.
Absolutely.
Welcome to come through. We'd appreciate that, man. So we'll give you the last word, man. Anything you want to say, but we are going to have one final question to ask you, though.
Sounds good. That sounds good. So first, I just want to thank you both for being the pioneers, being the historians, being the men that you are in our city. And speaking up and providing the confidence and the courage for us to lead and follow and let us know that we can do it too. So I just want to start off by saying thank you for that. And thank you for starting this podcast to allow the voices of the people to come through. Y'all been doing this for years. So I truly, truly appreciate that and admire your strength, and I pull off some of that strength from you all to pull into myself. So just thank you, you all for that. So I just want to talk about, so I just want to say, the name of the organization is Future Leaders of Tomorrow. We are a nonprofit organization that work with young Black boys to encourage them to take advantage take advantage of this their life and and dream beyond their immediate circumstances. Tomorrow is our first annual Black Boy Joy Festival that's happening at Military Park in Newark, New Jersey at 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come down. We have food, fun, music, dancing, activities, anything that you think of you will have it at our event for our Black boys because it's all about Black boy joy, Black boy love, Black boy affirmations and celebrations. So I'm truly honored to have the ability and the opportunity to work with young people that'll be coming here. I think every time I'm in front of a young person, it is an important, is an honor because they have the opportunity to be with and around anyone of their choosing. And if they choose to and decide to be around me, I take that with a great deal of respect, and I honor all young people and all young people. So thank you for that. So just know for the people that's out there listening that once they come into the space, they're going to be respected, they're going to be loved, they're going to be cherished, and there's going to be some high expectations. We are going to think they got to have some high expectations because they will rise to our expectations. So we got to begin to challenge our young people to be great and let them be great. I am a resident of the city of Newark, born and raised. My wife is from the city of Newark. I have two boys. I went to school in Newark. So I had the opportunity to move out of Newark, but we are staying here. I want my young people my children, my sons, I have two Black boys that I'm raising in the city, that went to public school in the city, that I want them to not feel nervous about the people that they see, regardless of how established we may get. This is their city and this is their people. So I'm excited about this, and thank you all again for allowing me to be on your platform.
Right on, right on.
Well, thank you. Zaid, you want to ask him the final question?
Go ahead. No, you got it, Ed.
So let me ask you this, Larry. We are a political hip hop radio talk show. We started 15 years ago, as I say, over at WRNU Radio in the Paul Robeson building. So when you doing this work, Larry, what is your favorite hip hop song that motivates you, man? What music are you listening to that just gets you pumped up and keep you going?
All right. Before I answer that, I just want to, and as I failed to mention, I also just want to thank our many sponsors that we have. We have some sponsors such as the New Jersey Institute of Social Justice, BRIC. We have Jagosi Civic Associations. We have Big Rocks that came in that donated. We have Cold Stone Union that donated to the organization. We have a bunch of all of our partners that are volunteer their time, their vendors, all about the kids, their Black men, do for self. All of many individual folks. We have a bunch of people that's just individual that took the time and out of their wallet to sponsor these kids and sponsor the program. So many of our sponsors that donated, the Greenlight Fund donated. I don't want to miss anybody when we start calling shout people up. I just want to just acknowledge these organizations that supported, that believed in the mission that we were doing. I want to thank Altry Kinney for sending me to this channel and sending and speaking of me and talking about me about this channel. Councilman Larry Crump, Councilman Roundtree called me this morning and told me that if we got in contact with her sooner, she would support us. So there's a Clinton Hill Action. So there's a bunch of community organizations. So this is a community-led project that we was able to connect with different community members that's supporting this project. So we are of the community and we are in the community. So I just wanted to make sure I let the sponsors and the in-kind donation of people that donate and the individual voters that sit their money and this time, which is hard, to support this initiative. And I truly honor that, and I truly appreciate all of that work, Mr. Ryan Haygood as well. So to answer your question, if I missed anybody, I'm truly sorry if I missed anybody.
All of those people you just mentioned are part of this show. Ryan Haygood,
wow.
Roundtree, Al Tariq, all those people you just mentioned.
Wow. Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah. All community people. Yes.
You haven't heard. And so we will, that's why I'm saying we want to have you back after your inaugural so you can come back on with all of these people and feel free to come back with your young people so we can make sure that you know that we want to love on you, brother, and them kids as much often as we possibly can. And just like you, right? I'm bred and born in this city, and I'm one of them kids, brother. I'm older now, but I'm one of them kids too, man, who wasn't supposed to make it. Right?
That's right. That's right.
But had not it been for boxing, had not it been for Councilman George Branch, had not it been for 8th Street Boxing Club, you would have missed me. Zaid would have missed me, right? Law school would have missed me, right? All of them would have missed me. But thank God, you know, there was a councilman who had a boxing club, you know, on 8th Street in the West Ward, and I was able to find my way over to that boxing gym.
Good
Yes, sir.
And change my life.
One episode, one little thing we don't know how one thing could change our life in the ways that's unimaginable. So I'm glad that boxing allows you to save your life so you could be here for me.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying, and that's good, because what you just said, God doesn't save you for you; He saved you for somebody else, right?
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
You have been saved, brother Larry, for all them kids that are gonna come tomorrow. That's why you've been saved.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're gonna do a terrific job, man. I already see it. So so tell me who you listening to, man.
So what I'm listening to, so my all-time favorite artist is Tupac Shakur. I grew up listening to Tupac Shakur, born and raised. Like, that's who I thought I was Tupac at one point. So Tupac is I embody his spirit. So Tupac is the guy I listen to. So I listen to a number of different people. So I like David Banner. I listen to a bunch of Nas. I listen to J. Cole. I listen to Eric Roberson is my favorite R&B artist. I listen to a lot. Eric Roberson taught me how to love. Because of Eric Roberson, I was able to find my wife because he allowed me to become vulnerable with myself. So Eric Roberson, 90s music. I listen to a lot of 90s music, and R&B, and just about anything, you know. So Run the Jews, David Banner. So there's a lot of like conscious music. I listen to some other music, but I just try to keep music that's going to give me a high elevation. So I listen to that right now. So what I was listening to the last, well, what I've been listening to last, I've been listening to Boosie a lot lately. Lately, I've been listening to Boosie. His station, Boosie Band.
It's all good.
Yeah, I've been listening to that right now. So, but that's I'm all over. Like I try to jump around, get all over. But before I do want to add that I didn't mention my board. They was very supportive with me in this process. They stuck with me. Tayshaun Glover, Tish Johnson Jones, Sabir Johnson, Yolanda Jackson, and my good brother Solomon Middleton Williams. They was all on my board, holding me down, encouraging me to keep going. So I definitely got to mention them because without them in my corner and supporting me, this wouldn't be. So definitely mention that. But that's what I'm listening to with the music. That's what I'm listening to with the music.
Well, you know, just know that you know, you carrying the torch and you embodying Tupac. You know, well, one of the last conversations Tupac had with Duke, Councilman Kelly, you know, from Lords of the Underground. One of the things he said that they were talking about is being able to come back and build community programs. You know, he never got the opportunity to do that. You know what I mean? But you got an opportunity now, my brother. So
yes, sir.
All the luck in the world, and we want you to know that all politics are local is here for you. You know, it's an open space for you. Anytime you want to come through, but we're looking for you. I'm gonna hold you to it. I want to see you come back when this thing is over, my brother.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
Definitely, you know, let us know how it went and bring some of them kids with you. You see Al Tariq chiming in.
Oh, Al Tariq, yes, most definitely. Reasonable Doubt was one of the classic albums. I do apologize. I knew he was watching, and I failed to mention Reasonable Doubt. Reasonable Doubt is one of my all-time favorite albums. So definitely Reasonable Doubt. Definitely Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
and I will be back. I plan on being back because there's some other things I got done online that if I'm able to share, I definitely would like to share with the community and with you all that I have plans to do. Because there's different things that's after this Black Boy Joy Fest that we have lined up, and hopefully it'll be a success with that as well.
Well, we definitely will, my brother. We'd love to have you come back and talk about that. And we're going to wish you all the luck in the world tomorrow. and we're gonna be sending nothing but good vibrations your way for
That's right.
you to have one joyous celebration tomorrow, my brother.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Godspeed
All
to
right.
y'all. And if you're around, if you could just pop in if you can.
Yep.
But if not, we catch you on the next one.
Yeah, you see what it. See your boy Al Tariq. See, he said
That's why
something.
that's my guy. Al Tariq. We talk about a brother. Al Tariq is a brother. Like
Yes,
he's a brother. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes,
All right,
sir.
man.
All right, now thank you. I appreciate y'all. Truly appreciate y'all. Honor y'all. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, now have a good night.
Peace, brother.
Peace.
Wow. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yo,
We had
man.
what a nice thread that ran through tonight's show too.
I got
Right.
yeah, man. I just think that the whole run of it,
Yeah,
right? Just
nice thread.
one after another, man.
Yeah. The
You know,
thread really.
just, Zaid, I think we're gonna have to do that, man. Maybe once a month, we're just gonna have to get a whole bunch of brothers together and just have some brother conversations, man. You know what I mean?
Already doing that, and we gotta give him some love. In fact, he had something coming up. I was
Who's
trying
that?
to find brother Barbie.
Oh yeah, Mike Barber. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was
Yeah,
looking for
remember he came on and talk about that but that's who I was trying to relate that conversation to with Larry. That is what Mike Barbie says when he talks about us being able to be vulnerable, right? That's the difficult part. But if you're able to reach them kids now and help them along the way, they can mature in that, right? And understand that, it's okay, not to walk around with this mean mug on every day, right? Or have this mean face and not think you can make it in your community. Right. I mean, I tell you, Zaid, I mean, I know what it is, not to have hope, man. I know what it is for you not to have faith. But I'm telling you, Zaid, just like you, if it had not been for boxing and had not been for that gym on 8th Street, as a young man and as a young teenager, I don't know where I would be, man, because it allowed me, and those people in that gym, and being able to see Reggie Jones, right, meant something to me. You know what I mean? Because to see an Olympic champion and to know he was from Newark and see all of that meant something, and so having people like Tut, having people like Street Council, having people like Larry. I mean, all of these brothers, man, are doing something. Not only and then also with Tahir, all of them.
All that. The thread was clear. It was a real clear thread that ran through all that.
They all are working in their own space, but they all are doing something to give back, and save and change the lives of young people in our community, man. That's just awesome, man. You know what I mean? And that's not and Zaid, you heard me tell him this. That's not for the faint of heart.
That's right.
That's not for the faint of heart.
That's right.
Because working with some of these young brothers can be difficult, man. But we got the great DJ Rhino back.
Rhino has returned. Right, Rhino, right.
Can y'all hear me?
We hear you, brother.
We hear you. We see you.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I'm in the car. I'm in my car. For some reason, I can't get into my email on my laptop, so I had to use my phone. Plus, I got company at the house, so I'm in the car right now.
All good. Good to have you back, little brother.
Yeah, good to see y'all, man. But yeah, I definitely had to show up for this one, man, because I had to let y'all know about what's been going on in hip hop recently, man. It's been crazy. If you can see my shirt, I got the W on. The great hip hop group Wu-Tang Clan, man. They're on they're doing their final chapter tour, man. This is like their last run, their last tour.
Aren't they coming? Aren't they coming in?
Yeah, they came yesterday to Newark. Tonight.
They were out. Brothers out had the shirts on Broad Street when we were finishing up our rally.
Man, everybody had their W's on. It was black and yellow strong yesterday. And Wu-Tang did their thing, man. They did their thing.
Tonight they're supposed to be closing out. Their last show is tonight in Philly.
Okay.
But last night, man, it was the one word that I've been using the entire time since last night, man, is flawless. This
Mm.
show was
Wow.
flawless, man. Like every single one of those brothers. Number one, they were all there. You know what I mean? But every single one of those brothers, man, uh, uh, they look good. They sound good. Everybody was just on time. You know what I mean? The sound was really good. The mics were good. They had a few surprises, man. They had Lauryn Hill come out and do a couple of songs. She came out. She did "Killing Me Softly," and then she went into Zion, her song, the song Zion
That's all.
about her son. And
Yeah.
then her son Zion came out and did one of his songs.
Oh
And then
wow.
yeah, and then she went into her song X Factor, where the beginning of her first verse. She sings "Can It All Be So Simple." So she sang that, and then Wu Tang came back on stage and they did their song "Can It All Be So Simple," and she sang the hook along with them. And it was good to see them fan out because while Wu Tang were doing the song, you could see her on the side just acting like she was just like a fan, like a little girl just fanning out on Wu-Tang. But then after they finished and when she was walking off stage, they were fanning out on her, like Raekwon and Ghostface were just like, Ghostface was like, man, this is a dream right here. That's Lauryn Hill. You know what I'm saying? He was like, this was like a dream.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was dope. And then another surprise. Well, I was really surprised because I went with my man G Dub, and we kind of knew Lauren was going to be there because we heard the sound check because they weren't letting us in for a little while because they were still doing sound check, and we heard Lauren's voice, so we knew she was there. But a real surprise was Mary J. Blige. They brought Mary J. Blige
Oh,
out,
okay.
for Method Man when they did the All I Need song together.
Right. Right.
So that
Right.
was real cool to
Oh,
see.
Mary
But
Jackson.
another thing about seeing Mary and Meth up there together, not just for that song All I Need, but to see them, that was our generation, but to see them standing up there and also representing the younger generation, because if you think about 50 Cent's show Power, Method Man plays the
All on
lawyer on there.
it. All
And she
on it.
played one of the
That's
one
right.
of the drug dealers' moms, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
to see Meth and Mary up there on the stage,
Went out in the blaze of
you're
glory.
looking at power, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, as well.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool to see, you know what I mean? I was really expecting to see Redman since, it's Newark, it's Brick City,
That's
but he
right.
didn't come out. I was also expecting to see Nas because Nas, they also have a documentary coming out about the Purple Tape, which was Raekwon's album, Only Built for Cuban Links. But the streets, they call it the Purple Tape because if you had the cassette tape, the tape was purple, so everybody calls it the Purple Tape. But they have a documentary coming out about Raekwon's Purple Tape, so that's supposed to be coming out. Nas was in some of that footage, so I was kind of thinking Nas was going to come out and do the song "Verbal Intercourse" that he has with Raekwon on his album, but that didn't happen. But let me tell you, without Redman and without Nas, man, that show was still amazing, man. It was flawless. Like I said, man, the sound, everybody, like I said, everybody looked good, sounded good. The timing was on point. The band, they also had a live band playing along with them. The live band was dope. Run the Jewels, which is Killer Mike and LP. They opened up for Wu Tang. Their set was mad energetic as well. It was really good, man. It like the whole set, man. The whole show was definitely something to see. We definitely had to be there. Me personally, me and my crew, Hidden Descent, we've been around Wu Tang before. Like at one time, we came from a Farrakhan rally with Wu Tang. We were walking out with Wu Tang and hanging out afterwards, and we also went to uh, um, a video shoot. They were doing a video shoot when they had put out their first album, Enter the 36 Chambers. They had a video for a song called Mystery of Chess Boxing. And so when we heard that they were doing a video shoot, we all ran over to the video shoot. So we standing right there on the side when you see them in the video and you see the checker, they're standing on the checkerboard, on the chessboard. And they're all dressed in black and white and whatnot. But yeah, Wu-Tang. But this was the first time us actually seeing Wu-Tang perform. Like I never saw them actually perform on stage. So we were like, yeah, we gotta see them. This is their last tour. You know what I mean? We don't know if they're gonna ever do this again. They're calling it the Final Chapter. That's the name of the tour, the Final Chapter tour. But yeah, big ups to the Wu-Tang, man, all of the 9 members. Also Dirty Bass, old Dirty Bass is his oldest son, YDB, young Dirty Bastard. He was out there. He represented for his father, and he sang all the Dirty's verses, and it was a beautiful thing, man. It was a beautiful thing. So big ups to the Wu-Tang, man. Big ups to Run the Jewels, Killer Mike, and LP. Big ups to LP for shouting out Tame. He said when they were getting off stage, he said, rest in peace to Tame One. So that was real huge. You know what I mean? So it was huge, man. It would like that place was packed. Everybody had on their Wu-Tang gear, and it was just amazing to see, man. It was a real nice experience, man. And
You know,
not
I
just that. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I got a story about when they were doing their first album, back in the
Mm-hmm.
90s. Myself and Clark Kent was in the studio. We were all in the same studio in New York, and they
Yeah,
were all doing their first album. And everybody was young, trying to get on. And I
right.
remember Clark Kent was doing we were doing we were doing a college entertainment review magazine, and we had just partnered with Queen Latifah,
Mm,
not yeah, Queen Latifah and Naughty by Nature and all of them in Newark, and so Clark was doing he was doing the production on the sound for our radio show, and I remember meeting the Wu-Tang Clan, all them back then. And I remember
mm-hmm.
everybody in the studio was talking, they were recording, and everybody was talking about, yo, that shit was dope. That was
Yeah,
dope. And I was like, yo, who the hell is the Wu-Tang Clan? You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah,
lo and behold, they are the Wu-Tang Clan now. You know what I mean?
yeah, man.
Amazing, man. Who knew? You know what I mean? Who
The
knew?
Wu-Tang Clan, man. Wu-Tang Clan I'm telling you, they had a flawless show, man. To see everybody, at the age we are, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To see everybody at the age we are. That was the thing too. I also went to the Rock the Bells concert that happened at the Prudential Center as well. The Rock the Bells concert was crazy, man. They had so many people, man. I can't even go through the whole lineup, but so many people were there. Redman and Busta Rhymes closed it out. They shut it down. Redman brought out Tretch. He brought out Eric Sermon, K Solo. They did Headbanger and a few other songs. Tretch did Hip Hop Hooray and Uptown Anthem. It was real. It was just really dope, man. It was so they had a whole Uptown Records section where they had Albie Shore, Christopher Williams, Jeff
Mm,
Redd,
mm,
the Lost Boys, Horace Brown. They had Monifa. They gave shout outs to Heavy D and every. Eddie F was there. That was real dope too to see the whole Uptown crew from back in the day.
mm.
Show up, man. Yeah, they gave shouts to Andre Harrell.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was real dope, man. And what it was too, what I was telling my wife, 'cause me and my wife went to the Rock the Bells thing, and I was telling her what it felt like when we were leaving to see all of the people our age. We're all old heads now. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
to see all of us old heads leaving this hip hop event, it felt good because I know me personally, I never thought about what hip hop would look like at this age.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Mm.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But we always saw, the old heads go see uh Rolling Stones and Grateful
Yeah.
Dead at Madison Square
Yeah.
or some Coliseum somewhere. Or we all saw the old heads go see, the Whispers and Gladys Knight at Newark Symphony Hall or at the Apollo or something like that. You know what I mean? You always had that for the old heads, man. But now we're the old heads, and we get to see that and what that's like now. To go
Yeah.
to a Rock the Bells concert and see all of these classic artists that we grew up since we were in our
Yeah.
pre-teens and teens and stuff, and they're still doing it, still got music, they still performing their old classics. And just to be able to see that and experience that, man, at this age in our 50s, it's a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful experience, man. You know what I mean? Because like I said, we never dreamed of what hip hop would be like, or what it would be if it would be. You know what I'm saying? At this age. So yeah, nah, it's a beautiful thing, man. Um, Also, I just want to throw out there, hip hop artists. Some of our classic hip hop artists have been dropping albums. Speaking of Wu Tang, Raekwon just dropped an album today called "The Emperor's New Clothes." Check it out. I was just listening to that before I jumped on with y'all, and he's got some incredible
Right.
stuff on there, man. And even some of his skits are super deep, man. Like he's thinking like in the future, man. Raekwon is really he's one of those heads, man. He's one of those great minds, like a business mind. You know what I'm saying? Um, who else? Public Enemy. They dropped basically two albums. They put out the Enemy Radio album.
He dropped two albums.
Yeah, yeah. One is called one is the under the name Enemy Radio, and the name of the album is Radio Armageddon. And then they put out another album called Black Sky Over the Projects, which is another deep album that they just dropped. I personally like that Armageddon, the Radio Armageddon album more, just because it feels more like a journey and experience. But both of those albums, definitely check them out by Public Enemy. Also, Slick Rick, the great Slick Rick, dropped the album called Victory. Yeah, and he also dropped basically like a mini movie. It's like a video that goes to the album. It's like a video for the album, so you can check that out on YouTube. That's Slick Rick Victory. And I'm trying to think who else, man. It's just been a lot of another Wu-Tang member, Ghostface. Ghostface Killer is dropping Supreme Clientele 2 on August 8th. So just look out for all of this music, man. These are OG artists, man. Still doing it, still got great talent, great sounds, and just doing it, man. I was just, like I said, I was listening to Raekwon, and it's amazing, man. Some of the stuff on there, man. We were in there just knocking, man. He's got some great stuff, man. So yeah, big ups to the Wu Tang and big ups to everybody, man. Everybody in hip hop that's doing it. Keep doing it. Don't stop.
What so what's coming up? Any more great shows, or any is Lauren doing anything anytime soon?
I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure what's going on with Lauren, but I do have some things that I'm doing. I have something coming up this Sunday on Abington Avenue in Newark. That's where they have all of the graffiti, all of the walls with all of the graffiti going on. That's 161 Abington Avenue. That's this Sunday, July 20th. That's between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. I'll be out there DJing and throwing on the music and the jams. And it's a family event. Bring your kids, bring the family. It's going to be food. It's going to be vendors. It's an artsy event. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be poetry. It's going to be a live band. A lot of art going to be going on. They got graffiti on the walls and all of that stuff that's going to be happening. So that's this Sunday, July 20th, here in Newark. That's 161 Abington Avenue, Newark, New Jersey, from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Check me out then. You can also catch me and my OGV family, my brothers, Operation Good Vibes. That's my DJ crew on the 26th of July. That'll be on a Saturday. We'll be in New York, Amsterdam Avenue. That's the Amsterdam reunion, the reunion for Amsterdam houses, the projects in New York City, right across the street from Lincoln Center. Oh, which is something else I got to bring up. But we'll be OGV will be doing the music for the Amsterdam reunion, the projects reunion on the 26th. Speaking of Amsterdam and Lincoln Center, we also went to the 30th anniversary of Duck Down Records. That's Buckshot, Smith and Wesson, Helter Skelter, the whole Duck Down crew. Rest in peace, Sean Price. They brought out Master Ace, Pharoah Monch. They brought KRS-One out. Of course, KRS blew the stage. It was good to see everybody on stage doing their thing, man. Big ups to Evil D. and everybody. Torre was hosting. The only issue I had with that show is that the mics were kind of like sucky, man. They were kind of horrible. You couldn't really hear them that well. You know what I mean? But the performances were incredible. The performances were great, but the mics weren't up to par. Which is why the Woo show was just so extra good, because the sound was extra good, you know. But yeah, that's what I got.
Let me ask you a question, Rhino. So,
What's up?
I'm it's good to
That
hear
was a
about,
lot, Rhino.
Yeah, man, it's been a lot. Had to catch
it's good
all
to
up.
hear. It's good to hear that all of the, older brothers are out there working and, and performing. What's
Mhm.
going on with what's Most Def, man? Anything on Most Def?
Not that I've heard of. You know, they had put him and Talib. I put that album out, No Fear of Time, a couple of years ago. That was their coming back as under the name Black Star, which was a pretty dope album too. Yeah, I think it got slept on. People weren't ready for it, but no, I haven't heard anything with Mos Def since though. You know, Mos Def's been doing a lot of holistic, pure stuff, man. With him, trying to get his mind and spirit right. You know what I mean? You know,
Because
just
I see Talib. I know he's got a show coming up. In New York.
mhm.
I don't really see Most Def out there anywhere, man.
Yeah, most stays he stays in the background pretty much, man.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah.
wow.
It would, and
Also
it's
known
funny.
as
It's funny you mentioned
Legendary.
that though, because I was thinking about Mos Def today, and I was thinking about how if he was out more, how much I personally would love that, just to hear Mos Def more, because I used to put Mos Def. I used to say that Mos Def was today's KRS-One, but
Yeah.
but we stopped hearing him though. You know what I mean? We don't hear him that much anymore. But Mos Def was
Yeah.
one of those guys, because he was one of those dudes off the head. He was nasty with it. He was always conscious, even off the head. Because sometimes, you could be conscious when you're writing, but then off the head, you're not as conscious. You know what I mean? But
Right.
he was one of those dudes, like KRS, who was always conscious. Like Common. Common Sense is another one who's conscious, always conscious. In what he's speaking. So yeah, Mos Def is definitely missed in the hip hop
Yeah.
scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's definitely one of my favorite artists. I was just wondering, man. Where's he at? Haven't even heard from him, especially
I
when I
was just
saw.
recently I was just recently talking about Mos Def too, just the other night, because we were talking about show, people we've seen perform and whatnot. And I remember seeing Mos Def perform with De La Soul at Tramps back in like '96.
Mm-hmm.
And man, let me tell you, I was like I was like, man, Mos Def manifest God on that stage, man, because what he did was incredible, man. Him and De La Soul, like, that show was amazing. And I was in pain that show, because it was raining outside. My back was killing me. It was like less than standing room only. It was like so packed tight. It was like shoulder to shoulder in that place. I remember having to squat down in between people, trying to
Mm-hmm.
just get my back right, because my back was in pain. But because these dudes, they didn't show. They were like 2 hours late. So when they finally showed up, though, man, they really showed and did their thing, man. And yeah, Mos Def is just an amazing artist, man.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my man.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, we out of time. DJ Ryan, we want to thank you, brother, for finally showing back up and getting in your space, man, and
Welcome
catching us
back,
up.
Definitely.
beloved.
You know,
Word.
hope everything
Yes,
is going
sir.
well with you. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, man. Now life is.
yeah. It's called life in. You know,
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
it is, man. And sometimes you gotta take it and get involved and try and get things straightened out. But Zaid, let's go on and thank everybody, man, for coming through, man. Both
Oh man,
came
it's a
through.
full show. Want to thank Tut for coming through. Uh, uh, Deputy Mayor sends her apologies. We get her back. Hassan sends his apology. He had a domestic violence emergency. He's a part of that new strategy.
right? He
Wow.
sends his apologies. Who do we have there? We had Tahir and Marquis. We had Street Council, his new book, right? And who am I forgetting? It was loaded. And Larry. Larry
Mhm.
just came on with what he's doing tomorrow with Blackboard Joy, right? That
Yep.
fest. This is a loaded show with a nice thread that went right through each segment, right? And it
Yep.
gave us really nice flow tonight. And everybody got and has been blowing up the chat. We appreciate too. We know you're listening, you're paying attention
Yep.
with those critical eyes and ears. We hear you, we see you, right? And we appreciate you.
Yep. Any final
One line
thoughts?
on the announcement front. Let me just say this real quick, because I know we're about to get up out of here. Sunday, the Malcolm X Commemoration Committee. That's my New York organization. We're having our first Newark event with Source of Knowledge Bookstore. We're bringing Tamara Payne over to sign her book, "The Dead Are Arising," a book that she rescued after her father passed away. Les Payne. That was supposed to be his book. And it was a nationally acclaimed book. They won the Pulitzer Prize, the National Book Award. They've gotten some real good play for what they did, and this is a part of what we're doing for Malcolm Centennial. So, Source of Knowledge Bookstore Sunday between 12 and 3. You'll get a chance to see her. Let her sign off on the book. Get the book, right, and get other books. Because we want that bookstore to do well too.
Yep. And let's make sure folks know that our brother Street Council said that his book is going to be there, as well. So y'all
Get it
heard
from
him.
the store. Yes.
Yeah. So make sure y'all stop down and pick that book up, and support young brothers, who are, telling their own story, right? Which is what you said
Mhm.
tonight, right?
That's
You
right.
know, we got to learn how to tell our own story and tell it better, So make sure you get down and do that. So, any final thoughts for you, Rhino?
No final thoughts. I just want to throw out also. Look out for the Tame One documentary. We're in full
Yes.
production and doing that
Yes.
Tame One
I know that means a
documentary.
lot to you. Absolutely.
Yeah. There's a trailer out there now that you can watch right now. It's really official. They're doing a real good job. I'm actually supposed to be doing my parts early August. And they're gonna try to wrap it up in about. They said within a year we'll see it, because they got to do all of the editing. They got to make sure they get everybody. They just got Lord Jamar. They just recorded Lord Jamar's parts a couple of days ago. So yeah, they're just trying to get everybody, get all of the footage, the audio, the images, and everything, all of the stories. And but what it looks like so far, man. It really looks good. It looks official. Tame One is because he's going to be represented well in that documentary.
Well, looking forward
Good.
to it, man.
Good.
Looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, we want to welcome you. We want to, say thank you to all of y'all for coming through tonight and hanging out with us. We appreciate all of our guests, and of course, want to thank my co-host here with me tonight, Brother Zaid, and thank Brother Rhino for coming through. And want to say what's up and hope safe travels to John, who's out in Massachusetts, and of course Donna with her family, and all of the other co-hosts that come through. We want to say what's up to all of y'all, and until next week, as my brother Zaid used to say, we'll catch them where, Zai?
We'll see you in the whirlwind,
Catch
and you
y'all in the
don't stop.